Heyo! Welcome to Benchwarmers, a Woso podcast, episode 19. 19. We're nearly at 20.
Yeah.
Nearly there. 19. Any famous 19s?
Caitlin Ford.
Vicky Lopez.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Lamine Yamal.
Oh, damn it. Stole mine. Fair enough. I lose. I'll have to come through in the podcast at some point. But football is back. Mm-hmm. Good life we live now that football is back. Not entirely back, not every league. But I'm having a great time. Obviously, excess of keep cups around. I've been drinking lots of coffee in the last 24 hours. We will get to that, but we will start in the WSL with arguably the worst game of the week being the first game of the week. Actually, a very entertaining watch for the neutral who goes for Manchester City, which makes me not neutral at all.
No.
Wishing death upon my two rivals. Not really my rivals, but like my rivals in the moral sense. Looking at the lineups coming out, how did you feel?
Fine. I mean, I wasn't expecting anyone else, seeing as we made, one signing in the summer, or in the transfer window, I should say. So,
but like I would say the back four was more interesting.
Yeah. So Williamson is now officially back. I think that's good. I think she played very well. I think that her decisive through balls, especially into the centre, kind of are unimaginably vital right now. I think just to get the ball rolling, especially in our final third and when we want to attack. I'm happy with the midfield. Obviously KCC's out, and we want to obviously say it's sad news that KCC's mum and what's happened with her, and she was obviously given leave, and I think that's just fair, and the fact that then Marnham came in and slotted in, I wasn't upset about that. I obviously want Marnham to start more, and I thought she had a poor game, but I don't actually necessarily think that was
You don't think it's endemic of her?
I don't think it's endemic of her. I think it's probably the fact that we've just gotten back off a break. She hasn't started many games this season, and I don't think this particular game suited a player like Frida Marnham. I think it suited a player like Mariona Caldente.
Very true.
Yeah, and
the one up there, that is the prime. Is that not the prime Mariona?
I'd say that is. I would say that. I would say last season.
It looked like prime Mariona.
And I was just going to say this reminded me of last season Mariona, and I think at the start of the game we looked really shaky. I think that
all that first 5 minutes. Jesus.
If Frito scored that goal, I think not only would Skinner be happy, I think that would be.
Locked it up very easily.
Exactly,
that would
because
have been such a united performance.
Exactly, and I think just thinking about how they played for the rest of the game, and we can go on to the time wasting and all that. I think from that moment on, when they realized that the opportunity to score was basically going to be like 1 out of 100. I think that they realize they're going to take their chances and they're going to just defend for the life of them. And it worked. And, I can sit here and go, it was all Arsenal's fault. We didn't score. We didn't do that. But at some point, you have to commend the opposition and the defensive work. You have to also complain about the fact that Arsenal don't score goals, but that's not new. This has been a thing for 12 months now. Yeah. And I don't know. I would like to say that this is not endemic, but it is. And the only real bright spot here was a fantastic Mariona performance.
I mean, I don't know. Looking outside, obviously, you know how you want your team to look. And I think there were moments in that game where you looked right. I think the first 20 minutes of the second half was probably, other than your, barrage in 90 minutes where you're taking pot shots and Kim Little's trying to rocket things into the goal. And it's I understand that. I think players like Mariona being further forward is the goal, right? So Arsenal fans I've spoken to, being visibly pissed off with the chances falling to Marnham. Marnham has the intuition to get into spaces. This is the same for club, same for country. She can do that. If she's not scoring, that's got to be Mariona. Mariona shouldn't be getting chances on her left foot on the edge of the box and putting it over 10 yards over the bar. She should be the one getting the chance that Marnham gets. But the problem is that you're relying so heavily on Mariona to set up your chances that no one else can do it for her at the moment, because you're using Kim as such an outlet to track back, to hit your recovery runs. She's the one running straight back, hustling, killing the momentum of the counterattack. You had their wingers in the back pockets of your fullbacks. Yeah. Emily Fox had a fantastic game. Yeah. Katie McCabe and Catley working really well on that left side together, inverting with each other. Obviously, you got to commend Tallis Joyce. She did her job. I think it's safe to say a class goalkeeper performance. But also shout out to Borba as well. I feel like despite the fact Talistrais had a good game, none of her saves were as good as Borba's save on Rolfo, right? And that could have ended the game very easily there. I don't really look at the chance creation as a success for Arsenal because generating under 3 XG from 26, 27 shots isn't good enough. That's not good enough. And it's because your chances are too low. You only got 6 on target. You're saying 1 in 5 shots of yours are on target isn't good enough. But there were chances in this game to get at them, specifically once the red card happened.
Yes.
I've got to commend Skinner for doing something that is very pragmatic and also like very attention grabbing as a manager, where you make a decision, you try to impact the game, and then something bad happens to your idea and you just changed it. And this is a call out to Leanne Sanderson. When a player comes on that isn't good enough to fill in the hole that leaves, you make a sub to make sure that hole is filled. So players like Simi Awujo, who are 20 years old, Canadian internationals, I don't feel bad for them when they only get 10 minutes.
I felt funny. It
was hilarious. It's hilarious. That's part of the game. You make a decision. The decision backfires. You go, you know what? I've brought in Hannah Lundqvist for the reason. It actually made Skinner look incredibly good
competent
as a manager. Yeah, that's exactly what you do. You don't just go, Awujo, you should stay on the field because I feel bad for her. She's playing for Manchester United. She's playing for the biggest club in England. Just relax,
third biggest club in England.
Well, okay, yes, but from a cultural standpoint, if all fans universalized, she's one of the lucky ones. She's playing in one of the most gifted clubs, one of the great facilities. You're coming into the Emirates in front of 30,000 people. Yeah, okay, she only got 11 minutes. She didn't do much wrong in the 11 minutes. She actually set up a few balls forward as much as Mallard was busy trying to claw out of Katie McCabe's back pocket. But the reality was that there weren't many big enough moments post the red card to justify Renee's, signing of a 4-year deal.
I'm not upset at her signing a 4-year deal. I'm more just upset about maybe what that means for the club in terms of what we aspire to be. I think the signings, although made, and I'm really happy with Holmberg. I think that she had a fantastic cameo. I think better than any of the United cameo. I think she did better than Blomqvist. I think she did way better than Leah Schuler.
Leah had nothing to do because nothing was set up for her. She was basically told to track back and not even present forward.
But I just think if our future is building players who are 19, 20 and building them to be first team players, to be players that can get us into multiple competitions without the fear of injuries or not enough squad depth, I'm happy with that. I just really want the identity of Arsenal to come back. And I implore anyone to watch our documentary that came out, which was PRFC just come to life.
No, I'm shocked.
But I do think that it is, I do think it's reflective of what Renee wants. And I think she wants that Arsenal style and she wants that Arsenal philosophy mixed in with a bit of pragmatism and a winning mentality. And I can't hate that. And I think that's why she got the deal.
If I wanted to play devil's advocate, not for Renee, but in terms of Smilla, what would you say to an alternative Arsenal fan who'd be like, okay, is it annoying that we have Smilla and she's doing great, but we had Jenna who could fill in fullback and do similar, not the same, but similar things? I
would say we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes with Jenna Niswanger. I don't know what her ceiling is. I don't know how she can fit into a role the same way as Smilla did and have that performance, because I just simply didn't see it. And to that I say, Godspeed to Jenna Niswanger at Aston Villa. I think that's a great move for her. Personally, I would have liked to have sold her rather than send her out on loan. I think that Arsenal are kind of, we do this thing, but we have a bit of postpartum. It's we need to actually let these players go.
Yeah, I think we'll get into it when we talk about transfers specifically, but I feel like it happens more in Woso, but the cruel nature of football hasn't really matured into the fan base, I think we do
Yes.
get sentimental and
Sure.
we do go like, oh, why does this player not get enough game time? It's because there's two squads.
Yeah.
It's because when you have a team, there are players that are better than others, and that happens. And we'll get into that with different transfers that come up. But I mean, should we take a tactical timeout on the podcast? Should we take a tactical sub? Right now?
No. Apparently the goalkeeper's just gone down, so I just have to go over and give
I'm the
a message.
goalkeeper. I'm about to lie down.
Oh, okay, awesome.
No, so how does that feel that we're doing that every 30 minutes?
Well, we're not basketball. I can tell you that much. And to me,
can I ask? Do you know anything about basketball
I know some
timeouts?
things.
How long is a basketball timeout?
30 seconds.
It's a minute, but you're all good. You're all good. Yes, we aren't basketball.
We are not basketball.
Yeah.
And I am kind of sick of this idea that you can just kind of skirt around the rules, that you can justify the very obvious thing that has happened here, which is there is just no communication going on. I mean, when do you just not miss the days when you would get a piece of paper sent out from the manager and it would do the rounds?
What do you mean miss the days? That was the Euros. The entire Euros was Serena Weigman passing notes to Leah Williamson, and then Williamson proceeding to hand those notes to the relative set piece takers.
I think that we have lost the art of active communication on the pitch. I don't need
What happened to the manager screaming on the sideline?
Exactly. I mean, Skinner, for all intensive purposes, just feels like the type of manager who's like doesn't like to scream and likes to meditate instead. Yeah. So
it's actually quite tranquil to see.
Yeah,
I don't feel like he's doing anything, but he is doing something, which is so cool.
Is it crazy to say, this is like post-woke? Post-woke.
In my head just means when Leggy's trying to say anti-woke.
Yeah, no, it just gets to a point where you're like, either we actually put in a timeout and there is something like a drinks break or something,
I'm happy with a tactical timeout. If they put that in, as much as I think you have to have the ball, that would be part of the rule, and it would have to be from, like, the ball would have to go out or it'd be a goal and you get a minute. But I think the part that rubs people the wrong way is the fake injury.
Exploiting the loophole. It's just like,
it's like, cool, you want to talk to your players? Fine. You want to impact the game? Fine. Just give them a place to do it and don't let it be too much. Yeah. Don't let the injury just facilitate the narrative of the game or the momentum of the game, because Arsenal were picking up momentum. That was the 30-minute mark. You'd already weathered the storm. You'd started your chances. Liv Smith and Russo had both of their chances. Finally, Russo was in the centre of the park to get her chances, as much as, I mean, we could have on a whole podcast hour about Alessia Russo and her ability to not stay central, and
just because she's like more of a three-dimensional striker.
Who can't score more than 12 goals in a season, but can score 6 goals in a Euro. So, like, the question is there. I think she's a 20-goal a season striker who's being hindered, but I understand. But this also means dropped points for both of you. And it put me in a great mood. It put Chelsea fans in a fantastic mood as we were moving into the other games of the round, all happening at the same time. No goal rush still, yet again. We can have all these stats and XG at halftime and all these graphs, but we can't put on 2 screens at once. I love it. It's fine. I'll watch my team play Everton at the Joey. Comfortable, I'd say. This was for our so-called bogey team. I think it's harder when we're at Goodison Park, but at home we were just great. I think back like we never left, really.
Yeah, and I think comfortable to the point of kind of underwhelming to me. I think that you should have scored 8 goals, really.
I mean, this was one of, the Bunny game. This is when Bunny has like 7-8 shots, 5 of
and I was surprised.
2 hit the post, one wide. Yeah.
I was really surprised, just given the fact that these weren't like half chances. She had good chances.
She's actually better with half chances.
Yeah, I think so.
I think there are moments where she forces a parry, it forces her to take a better shot. I like that we've had so much PR this week. I feel like being league leaders, you end up with like teams coming in, talking to Bunny and Viv, how they attack together. Yeah. Clearly Bunny really was having a great time. Viv just leave me alone, let my craft speak for itself. But I do want to say AJ before the game was talking to the players, because we've started releasing that, because
of course, you
usually get PR when you start trying to win the league.
We haven't done that.
But being confident in our game plan, but also like chasing and hunting the game. It shows that we're ambitious. Like, we don't command possession. We hunt for possession. We're not we don't hold on to possession from a sense of like we deserve it at home. We need to win it, and when we lose it, we were fighting back. Our press was really, really strong, and it helps when you have really fast players on either side now who are doing the business.
You're just decisive. Like you want to score goals. You want to attack.
And the mentality.
And to me personally, watching the game, I don't see a sense of hesitation in your attack.
Yeah.
You are so deliberate in all your actions.
Even when we had Fujino and Bene running the game, we were very intentional, very, very engaging, and very direct. Like the mentality, Jeglert's game plan doesn't fit the players we have. The players we have fit Jeglert's game plan. And I think it's so clear because since Hempo's come back and now Carolyn is back, and Carolyn is just a joke. I thought she was easily player of the match by a mile. I don't think you can really say otherwise. Anytime she got the ball, just stood up the fullback, slows it down. The defender just couldn't engage. They can't engage. You can't go up to Carolyn and try and take the ball off her because off 2 steps, they just don't trust to beat her in a one-on-one battle. It's not like I would expect Katie McCabe to sit deep on her. I would expect Esme Brute to sit back on her and let her make the move. You'd have to wait. Like if you're a fullback, you just have to wait with her because you can't beat her 1v1. And all I was thinking about halfway through the game when she was just styling on them is that next year the World Cup will be in Brazil. She'll be in her home nation, 70,000 people. Yeah. And all I'll be thinking about is that she'll get the ball, and like this is what's happened for me when I'm watching her at the Joey, and all I'm thinking of is she gets the ball, and you're just going, Boa noite, povo, que eu cheguei, mas através apresenta-me baiana, and it just goes so hard. Like she is like Yoga Bonito to the death. True. Like, and like I want the whole stadium just going and they will go crazy for her. I mean, if Marta makes that tournament as well, just like she is I know she's from Cairo, she's not from Bahia, but she's got that straight ball down pat, and the run, I mean, look, the goal is the goal. It wasn't like amazing, but to get in the position, not many wingers in the league can do it, and she's just a straight baller. I was going to get you to try and do the Portuguese.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, but she's so good. Then there was controversy in this game. I mean, controversy without like actual like retribution in the sense of like, I understand that people think that that's not a foul.
People being me.
And yeah, people being you, people being the comms, Jesus Christ. But I just think it's I think it's null and void. I think we don't recognize you have to get corners aren't a place where you can just squish the goalie into their net. Like they have to be able to have right of way to run through, else Yamashita could just like barrel roll Ruby Mace from the back, which would be a penalty. So there needs to be some rulings in how you screen a goalie. And I feel like, I mean, we've discussed this during the week, that Arsenal's men's do an amazing job, in my opinion, of screening the goalie without shoving them into the goal. And if a goalie wants to swing their arms, they have to be allowed to swing their arms when they jump. You just can't hit anyone. And I felt like, I mean, the reality was that even if they scored, we had 33 chances on goal. Everyone was saying, all these comms saying it was a mammoth defensive performance and Tony Payne was offside and it could have been a draw. Are we watching the same game? Do you know how many chances we had? How many, like, if we had actual incentive to go out and schmize the game and there was actual scoreboard pressure, then Bunny probably would have scored. It wouldn't have just been Viv sealing the deal 5 seconds before she was about to get subbed off.
Do you think, though, that with that goal particularly, it's more a concern for your defence on set pieces? I mean, you have scored a lot of goals through corners or crosses.
I mean, yes, in terms of conceded. In terms of conceded, we are very complacent with set piece defending. Luckily, in Woso, it's not the biggest problem to have. Personally, I think unless we're playing Barca or Leon.
I don't even think Barca use their corners.
I mean, unless Paredes is at the back post.
Sure.
Or Renard's at the front post. Or Alex Pott. they're the only three I'd be afraid of. I don't
Lindsay
see...
Horan.
I mean, yeah, but she's gone
Alessia
now.
Russo.
She's gone now from Europe. And Alessia, I agree, but Alessia doesn't stay in the centre enough for it to be dangerous enough for me. I think we ran this game, and I think we ran it from the midfield. I think we were talking about it as well. The directness of our line-breaking passes between LBB, who I'd argue had her best game of the year so far, Yui Tahempo playing those balls inverted, just fantastic. Jade Rose, I mean, this was touted. She's one of those players who's been touted since her inception at Harvard and Toronto. Like, her track back, she is just a physically gifted centre half. I think the way in which, I mean, and Kanak as well as the Brute, who can play those long, advanced, progressive balls.
I think there's something to be said about that. I think Kanak is a fantastic defender. I think she's one of the best. I think she's severely underrated, especially in that back line.
German international as well.
I still have issues with Greenwood playing anywhere on a flank.
Fair enough. I mean, I even have I'm somewhat complacent in the sense of that she's so much better through the centre of the park.
And that's who I think Arsenal fans think.
Uwabi is good, but maybe Uwabi is, I mean, a little bit of like she is, if you're going to go at someone, Kasparized Player of the Year, arguably, it's hard to make the case
just for rotation.
Yeah, it's rotational, and I think if Kanak gets a knock, then Greenwood's back in the middle, Rose to the right side. If Jade Rose gets a knock, then it's Kanak and Greenwood, and as much as that's a bit brute-like, I still think they both have those expansive passes. I think Kanak is one of the best two-footed defenders as well. Her ability to pass with her left and right foot is pretty immense.
You talked about rotations.
Oh, yeah, geez.
Yeah,
none in this game. No Fuji. No. Sydney Lohman not even on the bench. I believe Fujino is injured, which makes sense.
Yes,
But no Uwabi, no Bene, no Sergeant Coombs, like none of them. I expect more rotations from AJ. But, you know, it happens, I guess, first game back, wanting to get everyone match fit and fresh and enjoy the game. I still think I like bringing Bene on with at least 5 minutes to go. That would be nice. I don't think that would have harmed anything. I would have loved to. Carolyn had nothing to gain.
Cup games?
Yeah, we do have the FA Cup, but the FA Cup without the WSL. So why not just give them 5-10 minutes? There was no harm. I don't think there was much jeopardy in that game to lose it late. Maybe there was a little bit of angst in the camp for that. But
first game back, you need to get the players.
I mean, but then also, Sydney Lohman not being on the bench, that could be injury, could be fitness, whatever. I think there's a lot of questions to be had about that, especially with our new signing and what it will mean for Sydney Lohman. Exactly. But I think that comes back to our point that we'll get to later about knowing the hierarchy. But we will move around the grounds. Chelsea playing West Ham, the new look West Ham under Rita Guarino. That was just as, I mean, it might as well have been Rianne Guarino. But 5-0 whack from the Hungry Chasers.
I have no thoughts about this game.
Place. Fair enough.
To be completely honest with you, it was a shellacking. It was expected.
Usual suspects.
As well.
Lauren James, which was not.
That was
goal.
not even her goal.
Someone's kicked it into Lauren James, and this is the issue, right? Is they press hard.
Yep.
At least Lauren James, like the nicest thing I can say is that Lauren James pressed hard enough to score a goal.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right? Sandy Baltimore probably player of the match. I think a lot of Chelsea fans would argue JRK and Carpenter as well. I think the right side was looking real fresh in this game.
I think from this game, I think it really comes to a head what will happen when Ali Carpenter is on break for the Asia Cup. And I'm kind of thinking how they will be able to fill that quite massive hole that she'll leave behind. And I'm thinking...
It'll be Lucy Bryans on the right side.
Yeah, and I kind of think... just what she offers, I think she is irreplaceable in any team that she's in. And even if you have Lucy Bronze there, I just think you're just missing Ali Carpenter.
Yeah, but they'll just play a different way. This is what I like about Sonia, is that she's now phased in Naomi Girma in a way. Like, I, as much as I don't like her, I think she's brilliant. I think she's amazing. I think you could argue she's, like, mainstay in the US women's national team. She's got it's going to be Captain. Girma and who? The other centre half. I don't think there's a way that she doesn't make the starting 11 for the US. But if it's Germa and Berman and Lucy's on the right, they'll have cover. Okay. If it's Bjorn and Germa, they'll put Lucy on the right. They don't need Lucy to be central. They can just go back to their roots. Sure. This is the Emma Hayes ball, even like Giraldes ball, Barcelona, where Lucy's on the right, inverting, which offers a different look that... Look, Ellie, I don't want Ellie inverting to Sonia. You just want her hugging that byline. Yeah. And even JRK is shocked when she plays what she thought was a haphazard ball and then goes, oh my God, Ellie's quick. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the thing she does. But it was a smacking that was somehow not the most boring game of the week because, I mean, we had...
You did say it was our game, to be fair.
What? Your game was interesting only from a semblance of that. I mean, I just love that everyone thought it would be a goal fest because historically you've had goal fest. You haven't scored. Both of you haven't scored in 180 minutes, by the way, in this season. Awesome. But neither did LCL or Liverpool in 90 minutes. This was actually impressive from Liverpool. I think this is the year of the Gaz ball. The year of the Gaz ball. 2026, year of the horse, year of the Gaz ball. Yeah. Terrible performance from LCL. Jesus Christ. Do you know this is Liverpool's first clean sheet in 12 games?
That's impressive.
Since the League Cup game on the 25th of September against Sunderland. Wow. And it's their first league clean sheet since nearly a year ago against West Ham. Wow. When their team had Taylor Hines, Liv Smith, Tegan Micah and Kiernan running the show. Amazing. So it's been a while since we've seen a Liverpool clean sheet. But I didn't think anyone would stand out for either team.
Well, I think...
Maybe Jana, Corrales.
Yeah, Corral. Yeah, I think for me, on the left and on the right, if we're talking fullbacks, that's where LCL are strongest.
The two ex-Barcelona players running the show.
I think, and I think we'll mention this a bit later, but I think there has to, at some point, be a conversation about Guiro. I mean, 11 games in now, 0 goals, 0 assists. Arguably, we still don't know, biggest signing.
She is? No, she is. She is? Definitely. It's what 1.6 mil, allegedly.
And I just... At this point, I'm wondering, what is she adding?
She shouldn't make the France team. She shouldn't make it. She shouldn't be anywhere near it. In the way she's playing right now, the performances she's putting together, she should be not talismanic, but she should be running the show. Well, yeah, she should be taking penalties. Yeah. Aslani takes penalties. She should be doing something from an attacking point of view. Yes, she can provide defensive support, but we know this. She's a two-way player. Like... Put Karchawi in Gaoro's spot, what would Karchawi be doing for LCL?
But she would run the game. Exactly. But that's what she does. But I think the thing comes to the point where I don't think Gaoro has had that put on her. I don't think that in the teams that she's been in, she was never the one looked at to carry the team. And
but she was looked to lead the team. I feel like
in ways that are different to Karchawi and the other PSG players. Yes. I think personally... A lot of pressure is put in the centre of that park, and she just enveloped herself in the basic mediocrity of the rest of LCL.
I mean, a good start, Gaoro. Just change your number. That's a good start. No one likes 88. Just letting you know, from PR standpoint, from life standpoint, terrible number. You can just be the number 8. You'll be fine. You'll live. But maybe you won't live because your team has a new manager that I didn't really see much difference in the way they played, other than the reliance on the fullbacks. I will shout out that moment where Jana recovers that cross. But who are you crossing it into, right? Like, you've got to know your players, and I assume Maestro will get it at some point. But maybe there's a few signings coming before the 3rd of February on the deadline day. But we'll move into a little bit of a comeback story here in Villa and Brighton. D'Angelo, I mean, this was an interesting start to a game. Way to ruin my clean sheet, Sabrina. Jesus. I entrusted you to do the business, and you gave Tsunoda an open net on her first start, which is probably as lucky as you can get, to be honest. But I actually thought Villa did a great job coming back into this game.
I thought this was a very professional performance. I think they knew exactly what they had to do after the half.
Arroyo ball is very entertaining.
It is very entertaining. But I think that there is a remnant of a past Villa in this Villa team. I'm thinking 22-23. I'm thinking like an era of Villa that wanted to score goals, wanted to get into games, wanted to get into the nitty-gritty of the game. And I think it's hegemoned by Rachel Daly.
Yeah, I mean, she is, a blast from the past who just facilitates chance on chance on chance. She was going to score eventually. She was doing the woodwork challenge in the first half. Maltby has been a really nice addition into that, like, back pocket fullback who can whip the ball in really nicely. and then Daly hit the post because Hansen hit that cross across the box, and then I think Lucia Kendall stole the show in the second half.
Incredible.
And she was fantastic, set up Daly for the set piece, and then 2 minutes later, that rocket from Hansen. I don't know if Bagley could have done better. I feel like Ndosia could have done better sitting on the bench there.
She's concussed.
Yeah. Does that game change if she's playing?
Okay, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. I think maybe, but I just think the momentum of Villa was inevitable. If they weren't scoring one, they were going to score eventually.
Yeah.
I think Ndosia stifles. I think that she's very good aerially. So
Commands the ball.
yeah, and so I think at that point, yes. But I don't think you can blame Bagley for what was just a very good performance in the final third. By
Fair enough. I think they were chance creating and dictating tempo. So I don't know. Maybe Lucia Kendall's making a run for that Lionesses squad.
I think she's making a run for a bigger move, honestly.
That's true. Where is the bigger move?
I mean, if it weren't for the rumours that Stanway is coming to Arsenal, I would honestly think about her coming to Arsenal.
God forbid Arsenal sign an 8.
Yep.
No ways. I don't think I don't think she's on the list even.
No, she's not.
Shout out to Arsenal women's football director.
Great.
Not naming names at all. Spurs v Leicester.
Oh.
The Ashley Neville derby. Coined that before the game after the move, but it was the nightmare that kept on nightmaring, or for the Arsenal fan, the dream that kept on dreaming.
Do you know when Ashley Neville went onto the pitch and I saw her hairdo that day? It really reminded me of you.
Me.
With your headband.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, well,
That's
it's the truth. It's
behavior.
the truth. Usually
I'm glad it's the truth.
Usually we see her with the typical hairstyle, which I mean is
The bowl.
iconic.
The bowl, the Ashley
Right?
Neville bowl. This is what the game should have been called, the Ashley Neville bowl. I should have called it the Neville bowl. I'm sorry.
But
Guys,
she
we're
had-
going to start the segment again. No, but I don't know. I as much as Neville got the own goal, shout out to I'm now gonna coin the WSL dead ball master. That is Sumanen. I think if I wanted any human being in the WSL to stand over a free kick or a corner or any set piece, it's Sumanen.
Yeah,
She's genuinely. So I think she's a gun. I think she's the only player in Spurs where I'm like, you just take any shot you want, because I mean without Tamberg there, I don't really trust England. The Nilden sisters will be interesting if they both start.
I think that's insane signing, just to think about like nepotism in action, you know?
Yeah, but it happens. I mean, Chelsea fans want Giselle Thompson. You can't really argue with
then
it.
Chelsea fans are stupid. Like,
I mean, yeah, can't argue with that. But the new signing, Signa.
I have no thoughts. They're really at this point. You're asking in a game where it was stodgy, no real output, especially on the flanks.
It's kind of sad because I thought Leicester actually had a bulk of chances between Kane, O'Brien, EVE. They actually had chances to go on and equalise after the Neville own goal. This is Neville's first goal for Spurs in a while. That was a fantastic finish to win her beloved side at the winning game. But Claire Hunt should have scored as well. She got offside at the end, hit the post.
Claire Hunt's secretly having an okay season.
All right. What do you mean secretly having an okay
Well, no one
season?
talks about Claire Hunt.
I mean, there are certain people we know that put Koga as in their WSL Team of the Year so far.
Well,
I think Hunt's been better than Koga
is.
this year, but I think Spurs. Look, the scary part about this is that I don't think they're playing particularly well, but they're getting clean sheets. Yeah. They're getting 3 points. Arsenal are about to play Chelsea. They're about to play Liverpool. United's playing Villa. If United beat Villa,
not gonna happen.
Spurs beat Liverpool.
Not gonna happen.
No. Spurs are gonna beat Liverpool.
I'm a prophet, and I can tell you
to Chelsea. I actually hope you beat Chelsea because it's actually better for us if you beat Chelsea. But I actually want you to draw because then it's more funny. But it's even more funny that if you lose and United win and Spurs win, you'll be sixth.
It's like we have
sixth. Do you know how many number sixes I'm going to put up behind you?
Do you know how many times we've been sixth this season?
What?
At least twice.
Yeah, but now we're in January. You've been sixth in round 1, round 2. That's okay.
Yeah, and we'll wait till you're second at the end of the season.
Sure. Who's knocking out? You know. This is the part that's more interesting. If you beat Chelsea, it will cement a barrier so wide that we can lose to you, lose to Chelsea, and we'll still be top of the league. That sigh is, you know what that sigh is? That sigh is defeat. And we're going to talk about a game that didn't have defeat as we vamos to the Liga F. to what can arguably be game of the year done already.
Yeah, insane.
We're at January 16th. This game was on, January 11th? Year's done. Year's done. We are obviously talking about Atletico Madrid versus Sociedad, a third v fourth matchup that could easily have been 0-0, ended up being 5-all.
10-goal thriller.
10-goal thriller, split 5-all. What the cook.
And no goals, after the 65th minute or something?
Yeah, it was
Like,
just, it
insane.
just kept going. It was bounce, bounce, bounce. 8 minutes between goals. Anyone who says football can't have that many goals, this is what it's about. I mean, there was something low. I mean, some of the goals are a bit shambles. It was low-key giving Zambia Tilly vibes.
Yes.
Like that, you know when you're just watching certain goals go in, you're like, okay, this is a bit weird. Maybe it's just one of those days. But Gallardo, I like Gallardo as a keeper. I don't know what happened. I mean, she's copped 10 goals. She's copped 10 goals in 2 games. We'll get to that at some point. But Jensen, fantastic performance for Atletico Madrid.
Man of the match?
2 goals. No, Imade. My goat. Imade, hat-trick hero, the volley. The left-footed volley into the bottom left corner. Techie finish. This is what I mean. She's got multiple avenues to go. I think people still just see her as a brute. People still see her as just like this powerful force that Bayern don't necessarily have anymore, that Barca don't have, that all these teams can look at. She's got technicality to her game that can only get better with more coaching. Luani did a good press and defensive error, off a defensive error. I think there was just not enough defense, but there were a lot of lead changes. Like Sociedad started off leading, and it's 1-0 Sociedad, then 2-1 Atleti, then 3-2 Sociedad, then 5-3 Atleti, and then Sociedad at the back. I mean, Gallardo and Luani mixing up so badly at the end. The way they threw that away. When you're 5-3 up at home, you can't lose it. Like, okay, if you're 2-1 up, I understand, but 5-3 up, there's 30 minutes to go. Just set up shop, sit deeper, don't let this happen. And then Imade for the 5th goal to tie it up. She's screaming for the cross. She's the one you've just got to be locking up. Ezeguer is a good player, but she's still coming back from injury. You've just got to not let it get her, give her the space to jump and strike the ball, head it very easily. It was a terrible defensive performance both ways, but it shows the ability from a lot of them to score. Even Bartel's goal from that set piece, the one-touch strike across the box, that was from a corner, I believe. It was a great finish. But there are amazing goals in this game. If you want to check out the highlights, it's absolutely mental. I think you'll have some fun with that. But if you have time, watch the first 70 minutes of this game. You will not be disappointed in any way. It's sad because they share the points and then they get further away from their rivals in Real Madrid. Beat Sevilla, a bit of a usual suspects moment for Real Madrid. I still believe they're in their 04, 05, 06 Real Madrid Menso Galacticos era where these 3 players, like, Real Madrid aren't amazing yet. They're good. Yeah. They're better than the league. This is what I mean by like early stage Real Madrid where they weren't amazing yet. They weren't like the perfect team. Sure. But Caicedo, Athenea just run the show. The turn from Weir to set up Caicedo, that half spin, I swear she's playing street ball. Scotland Yoga Bonito.
On the cobbles.
She's literally Scottish Maradona. Scottish Marta. Caroline Weir. The spin, set up LC31 for the goal. Then Athenea's press was too strong. Sets up Weir. Timing of the run is perfect. Finishes near post. Weir player of the match.
I think Athenea has really solidified herself now in the squad. I think she was struggling to get in at the start of the season.
Was it not injury?
I think it was a bit of injury. I think it was also a bit of rotation as well.
I just don't think Fella is the answer on the wing.
We talked about Fella, and I think the problem with Fella, and you've identified it, is that she's just not clinical enough. Yeah. If she were, then she'd be a top level.
But she's not. She's just better through the centre, no?
I would say that the problem with Real Madrid is that I think they have flank players who are really good on the flank and not good in the centre, and central players who can kind of chop and change. Yeah. And I think you kind of see that with someone like Fella, where it's
competition on the flank, but then the centre is still Iris Santiago, and Alba Redondo clearly doesn't have whether they're saving her for the Champions League, but doesn't have the minerals to play 90
I just don't think so.
week.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, and I think this for Spain as well, her as a super sub would just be the answer.
She's magnificent. Yeah, and I don't criticize players for not being able to play 90 minutes. Yeah. That's fine. You got to come on when it's most beneficial to you. And I think I think Athenea was good. I think Ira Santiago provides options, but you're going to rely on Weir and Caicedo to get you your goals. Even Anderson had a header blocked on the line. I know there was a penalty late on that got saved. Mm-hmm. That was, I believe, De Brits. Bella Anderson also very good. There, I mean, it was an easy routine performance. It easily could have been 3-4, 5-0, but 2-0 will suffice. Yes, it was a De Brits pen. Athenea had the penalty late on, and then it was a very bad penalty. It was an Angadal penalty.
Okay, there you go.
Because De Brits is actually a very good penalty taker in historic means. But we move on to what I can only describe as a war crime. On a local front, I think Barca thought they were playing the real Madrid, but they played CFF, the fake Madrid, certified fake fraud Madrid,
Jesus.
Who lost. I mean, who scored? To be fair, Barcelona holding a clean sheet, not happening. Only happens against top three sides.
I said this.
But so not 1, not 2-1, not 3-1, but 12-1. If you think we're going through all the goals, you are crazy. But El Payor, 4 goals, double hat-trick, half of which were headers. Pina had a header. They were just scoring.
I just want to know,
fun.
Like, at this point, are they just getting the smallest players on the pitch to try to score as many headers as possible? Like, is this an internal bet that we're not aware of? If it's a bit,
it's giving us redemption. Again, when I say Woso is 20 years behind Menso in terms of our structural procedures and goal, I think of Falcao. I think of all the little diminutive forwards that we used to have. Chicharito, right? Yeah. Chicharito wasn't big. Headers for days. Yeah. Diogo Jota. Shout out Jota. R.I.P. Man was like Ben Teke, but 5'9". Like, I want the shortest plays. Les Omer is great with her head.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
It's just, you don't need to be tall to be gifted in the air. But I actually want to just shout out Sydney certainly. Not because I have some sort of Swiss Army knife agenda, but Sydney is, I mean, you said it best during the week. Salma wishes.
Yeah, I did. I honestly,
Salma with tech? Is it Salma with tech?
I was looking at the game and I was like, this is what I expected post 23 from Salma. I expected this type of football. After the second in
the ballon, you expected this. This is the arc.
I just think, and I understand that they're different players, and I understand that they come from different kind of philosophies of football, but
they're both useful in their own ways.
But the way that Sydney is able to just, she draws you in. She goes on the ball and you know that she's going to do something.
I just think Sydney's more talismanic. Sydney, you could see Sydney in 10 years from now running the game for Barcelona, whereas I don't see Salma in Barcelona for the tenure of her career. I see her moving on after achieving what she needs. Yeah, but she could dominate the NWSL.
Sure, I agree. I really agree.
But I actually think her and Rodman have very similar attributes in the way they play. And again, for all you Yanks out there, that's not an insult. Salma is a very, very good winger, but that's the level I compare her to, not the rest, okay? Calma. But if we're speaking about a different player that I think might be at Barcelona for a extended tenure, Carla Julia, my days. Have they found the next one?
I think that they found.
She'd be up front for Spain. Oh my days.
I think they found A1. I think that they've really grown A1 really if we think about La Masia. But
they grow them all. I don't know what's in the soil at La Masia, but it is filthy. It is so
Catalonian
fertile.
Pride. I don't know.
They're on Duolingo every day.
I think the way that she took that game on, the way that she just was so willing to make choices that I would not expect any player on any day to do. I mean,
18, 19 years old, you're megging plays, hitting the ball top bins. Like, you've been given so much confidence from the team around you. And that's the thing, is that Alexia's probably telling, Alexia, Aitana, all the senior leaders, Irina is going up to her and they're like, we see it in the training ground, play like you're at training. They don't play like they're not at training. And that's the thing, is that they're training against each other. So the game just slows down when they're on the pitch. And they're just having so much fun out there. And then they bring in the new faces when they're 7. The best time to bring on 20-year-old, 18-year-olds is when you're 8-0 up. There's no jeopardy in the game. You can have fun. Leia Martret, 20 years old. Noah Gomez. I don't know enough about them yet, but they're coming in and they're going to build more and grow more. And as we said, the La Masia soil is so fertile with brilliant footballers. And if they keep going, like they sold Corrales, they sold Jana, they sold Kira Walsh, they sold Engen, and they're better. They're better at football. It makes no sense. And it's actually scapegoating the financial institutional failures of Barca's men's side because they can just get rid of everyone and just soil it up with a bunch of like pre-adolescent teens who can style all over these mid-tier Liga F side. Like CFF Madrid are not Alhama. They're not at the bottom of the league. They're 7th in the league. They've got a few. They drew against Real Madrid. This is not a bad side, and they're making them look like a pub side that you play on a weekend, and it's just ridiculous because they're ultimately keeping Barcelona as an institution from a massive scandal in the sense of that they've gutted their team. They might win a quadruple. Sorry to say it to you. They might actually win a quadruple when they haven't brought in anyone. They've just retained what was allowed for them. Not even what they deserve, what they allow for them. If Barcelona's women's team got the respect, they'd be beating teams 15-1, not 12-1. Like if they had Engen in that game and Corrales was coming on and Jana was coming on the right side, like they'd have so much cover. We wouldn't even know who Aicha Kamara is, and I think Aicha Kamara is gonna. I mean, if someone doesn't snap her up, I don't know what we're doing. We've got a fullback itis in the world, and then that's the thing.
I think that there is a very positive thing about bringing these players on, but then that there is that business brain where I'm thinking, oh, this is just a way for Barca to put players on to like kind of get them out into the market so then they eventually sell them for money that, you know, because they're academy products, they don't lose anything. I think that's kind of evil, but I also know Barca and I know that that's what they want to do. And I think that the players that we're seeing now for Barca will probably be extraordinary players for whichever team they go to.
I'm excited for, out of the two that I didn't know, Ainhoa Gomez is the fullback. She's the left back. I want to see a La Masia left back. I don't need Olga in my Spanish national team.
Fair enough.
As much as everyone's going to hold the sentimentality of Olga's World Cup goal that ended up on a kit somehow. Real Madrid versus Athletic Club. I mean, do we just shout out the goalie?
Yes. Oh my God.
So Nan Clara's injured in the 7th
minute, yeah.
So sad. Olat Santana, we know who you are. Don't worry. You are not lost in the abyss of Woso. You made 11 saves in 83 minutes.
Insane.
You are unbelievable. We gave you everything, and you said no. Absolutely not. This could have easily been Super Sub of the Week, no question. She might even be in the Super Sub of the Week at the end of the Benchwarmers Awards, but there was just insult to injury that Caroline Weir had about 6 chances to score in this game, and then the one mistake she makes gets pressed by this youngster, Sarah Ortega, takes the ball. You don't think she's actually in control because she's running so fast. She gets to the ball earlier and then just rifles it. Bottom left corner, post and in. Nothing Misa could have done. 1-0. 1-0. Game over. Redondo had a big one-on-one at the end. Stopped on the line. Header from a corner. Stopped on the line. Just defensive job from Bilbao in the Estadio Di Stefano. That is it. 1-0. This puts Barcelona 10 points ahead of Real Madrid. By the way, that's league done, by the way. We're 10 points ahead of you in the WSL. But not league done, apparently.
Not league done in the WSL because you have performances like this and there are just not enough competition.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that Atletico and Real Sociedad and Real Madrid are more susceptible to dropping points means that Barcelona just have the opportunity to clinch a title very early on into a season.
Very early. Yeah. And it also means that they can start rotating earlier, start setting up for the Champions League. But I hope they don't make the same mistake as last year. I remember the game before the Champions League final, all of the GOATs, like it was like the Avengers on the bench, like just keep them fresh.
Yeah, I agree.
Keep them fresh
and
firing, 45 minutes. ease them off. You want them match fit and match ready. Don't make them over comfortable. So if they come up against Lyon, they're not coming up against ability that they don't expect. I think that also is a little bit of a detriment, albeit something that's more manageable in Woso. But like, I think of it like, again, anyone who's listening who's seen Bayern's dominance in the Bundesliga and the men's side, or even the women's side, when you come up against Essen or Karl Zeiss, and then you come up against Alhama, and then you move to Lyon, the stark difference in quality reveals itself, and it's dangerous. And the ARKEMA would be the same for Lyon, but that's why it's a bit different, is because kind of the top of the respective dominant leagues cop it everywhere. I think WSL is probably the most well-rounded in the sense of that. I mean, Chelsea drew to Liverpool in the league. Any team can really give another team a go on that given day, whereas I think there is a little bit more inevitability in those other leagues. But I say that, and Barca keeps their first clean sheet in a while, by the way. They leave it for the top sides. They leave it for Atletico Madrid. We had the 12-1, Payol 4 goals. I thought Payol was going to do it again after receiving the award. We had, who was it? Was it Mapi Lyon getting her 300th,
her 300th game,
which is crazy to think that she still got more in her. She might get to 400,
maybe
500 by the end of her career. But this was the Pina show, the Alexia show. Who do you want to talk about? 5-0.
I think it was the La Masia show in the sense that it's
always the La Masia show every week.
It's the established La Masia show. We didn't. This was, I said to you, probably the best Barcelona side that they can put out, barring all the injuries. I don't think that they could have replaced. I don't think that they could replace with everyone now available. Anyone on that pitch. I think that they put out their best squad, and I think Atletico were not necessarily undermanned, but underprepared for that. And I think as a result, players like Alexia, particularly, I just saw come out of her shell. And Pina...
It took 4 minutes for her to do that slice. They gave her the license on her right foot. She's a left footer, fine. Her right foot is arguably as good. I think her weak foot is incredibly underrated. I was actually discussing this with a few people at training as well, like who's the best two-footed player in the world. Like, she'd be up there. But all three of those midfielders, I think Payora as well, her two-footedness is pretty spectacular.
every foot, knee, head,
everything. She can't. There's not one part of her body that can't score. But, I mean, ultimately, Pina... This is ridiculous, by the way. The first goal... You remember when I said that she has a homing missile on her right foot? She was not aiming there. She wasn't aiming for barring in. I know she usually is. She just lashed at it. It deflected off the player. It could have just gone in. It could have just bobbled into the goal, and I would have been fine. I wouldn't blame Gallardo. But the fact that the strike has deflected off the defender and then gone barring in proves my theory that Pina has a homing missile on her right foot. And then also, I mean, her finish for the rebound as well was good. She's just got such good intuition. I don't think she's the fastest player, but her breaks are fantastic. She knows when to separate, get her space. You can't leave Pina alone from 25 to 30 yards. It's just not an okay thing to do. And Atletico knew that, but they couldn't stop it because when Pina inverts, you get too flooded in the centre of the park. You have the overlaps from Esme scoring again, back on the ground. I mean, we've got to start. I think we've got to start just recognising the Esme Brutes factor. I think when she was gone, you could tell the difference on that left side.
I don't think she's the best left back in the world. I just don't. I think that she's arguably...
for what they need.
I think arguably she's the best left wing back, if you want to counter as that. But she just doesn't have the defensive...
Left flank.
Sure, but she just doesn't have the defensive qualities for me. But I really respect that. I even think you said that... that Anya Battier was the most underrated player in the Barcelona team. Yeah. I think that Esme has to be up there. I think that on the two flanks, I think we forget where the momentum in the attack comes from, and it's usually coming out wide, going back centrally, and then distributing out wide again. I
think Ona's the more underrated just because her defensive quality is so high and her attacking output is so high. And
I just think Esme for her age,
any United fan would say the same. But my thing for Esme is she has I think she has a better game IQ. I think
Interesting.
her intuition to know when the ball is going to fall to her, when to overlap, when to invert, and when to cut through the left channel. It's almost Kasparai-like in the sense of that she doesn't sit on the wing, but she can invert through and then strike the ball. I think she's the best ball striker of any fullback on the left side.
I agree, and we knew that from 23.
No question at all. Even the World Cup performances when she went further up the pitch for the Netherlands, but. I mean, Alexia's back heel to Salma for the strike.
Classic.
That was definitely a personal attack on Leggy for not leaving her out of the team of the year teams. Like, you're gonna leave me out, I'm gonna style on these noobs. But then Salma does score. I know
she's back.
Yeah, I mean, goalkeepers union, but low key should have been saved. Low key, not the best strike, but Payol, good pass. Lexi left it. Imagine if she didn't score, by the way. They would have been fuming. But I did love it. It was good stuff. And that is all we have for the Liga FA. In the ARKEMA, a 1-0 win for Lyon. 1-0, by the way.
So boring. Oh my god.
I mean,
boring.
I find it interesting in the sense of that it's 1-0, right? They're usually styling on teams.
Yeah.
Lon's set up pretty well. I'm putting Ben Yaya on fraud watch. Girl is... I'm sorry, you're just not good enough. I'm sorry, you're just not. You have to score. You are the one who is getting the chances fall onto your plate. If Lindsay Heaps is leaving, you're the one who's... They've put in the hole that Giraldes trusts. You have to do it because right now it's Lily Johannes and Katoto running the show, linking up very well.
Centrally,
That goal, by the way. Johannes is try to score a shit goal challenge. Impossible. Oh my God. The side netting was beautiful. I think Eula Brand, low-key, not setting up a lot of good chances, but her own chances for her. The strikes are just not strong enough. Between her and Ben Yaya, they've got to be better than that.
I think with Yuli Brand, I think she's having a bit of like the Leah Schuler post-Euros problems.
But it's now 7 months. It's 7 months.
And yes, you can complain about that and you can argue that, but I think
this is the gut check time. You shouldn't be relying on Diani and Katoto week in, week out to run the show. Diani's got to get rest. She's not a full 90s player. She's injury prone. They brought her on in the 75th. They looked a lot better. You can't just rely on De Mornay as much as De Mornay is the 433 Women's Footballer of the Year. But, shout out the Haitian PR, by the way.
I know,
they
mad.
Were crazy turning up for her. But I've said De Mornay's, in my opinion, top 5 player in the world. But if she gets locked out and Diani gets locked out, who's setting up Hegerberg? Who's setting up Katoto? And it can't just be a 19-year-old, 20-year-old Lily Johannes. I
just think for me, Eula Brandt, and we've spoken about it before, I just have a lot of grace for a player who's just not fit for this system, but also a player that I recognise and you've recognised as well.
Love her. Amazing player.
Has never really done it domestically.
It is true. Her domestic numbers are revealing in comparison to her national performances even. And there are games where she doesn't score, but she just looks like a breath of fresh. It's almost Hayley Rasso-like.
Yeah, I just think that there is empowerment in playing in the national team that she gets versus for
She's locked
Lyon.
In. She's straight up locked into Mannschaft, and I hope she does pull back an important goal. I feel like the Champions League is more her domain in terms of relating international football to knockout football, I guess. But shout out to also Romain Rafalski, second appearance for Lyon. This is her first in a year, by the way. I think she had a big injury, but had a chance to score late on, but was saved. But definitely big ceiling. Excited to see more of her in the ARKEMA, especially when they get to later UWCL stages. Svava had a really good chance as well, but Long's goalie made 8 saves as well. So, Svava, I think, will be an important cog in the ARKEMA point of view for the UWCL.
I think she's better than Ashley Lawrence.
That is the question. Will she start in if they have a Champions League final? Are the fullbacks? It's Basher and who? And the question is that I feel like Lawrence is arguably better on the right.
But they have Tarsian is also playing on...
Tarsian is probably the answer, but she's also minute managing. Like she's not 100% the most fully fit player. PSG looking at Dijon getting turned into mustard late on, by the way. It was 1-0 for a long time in this game after Sakina Karchawi's low-key cross that was definitely a cross.
I think
it's Aitana-esque cross.
Oh, I hate you so much.
No, this one was a cross that actually went into the net, which is brutal. But again, the game's the game. Once the subs came on, there was 2 super subs in this game. What's her name? What was her name? I can't remember. Alimbi. She was one of the ones who came on. She scored the second one. She got 1 goal, 1 assist off the bench in 20 minutes, which is pretty impressive. And I mean, Kanjinga as well off the bench.
Yeah.
Just
I think there is an argument to have her on the pitch for a 90.
I think she was. I think she would.
Yeah. So
but
I think
Etrogeni and Kanjinga together is a very good combination. What do you think of Olga's goal?
Oh, baller! I mean, like
I shouldn't have said it.
I read the press thing like release of this game before I saw the highlights, and it was a screamer from Olga. So I'm thinking going in, this is like top bins.
I'm thinking De Mornay's goal against Manchester United.
Exactly.
Screamer.
And then this is just like low driven, like it just kind of rolls in.
It was nice, but
her Sally though, her Sally.
Nah, you know
she
what?
does not care.
She's earned that Sally.
The Sally of just turning around and just going.
It's the I wrote a book Sally. Sure. It's a great finish, but the 4th goal is definitely the best.
Yeah.
The half turn from Kang Jinga, beating the goalie near post. I mean, Graziani only getting 8 minutes. Very disappointed personally. I think she's the real deal. But again, Elimbi's only 20 years old. Good stint. Very happy. I think PSG has some young ballers they need to pursue if they're not.
Well, they're not in the Champions League.
You just got to use this year as a moment to take the season bit by bit.
Wouldn't it have been interesting? Do you remember in the Men's Champions League, if you didn't make it to the group stages, you were relegated to the Europa League?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been
old school
I think it would have been interesting for PSG if they were still in Europe in that Europa League format, like
Europa
how they
Cup.
would have gone. Yeah.
I mean, that whole Europa Cup is just the biggest enigma in Woso right now in terms of European comps.
Yeah.
I would love the old method.
Yeah.
But I also would understand if they want to create a second division similar to the way the UCL structure is to give teams prize money. I don't think PSG deserve to be relegated into a league where they should win it. I think it's more interesting if a team like Frankfurt wins or a team like Hacken goes in there and wins Europa Cup than it is for Roma to punch down and then it's Roma versus PSG, 2 teams that failed perennially in the Champions League, benefiting off a structure that benefits just the top.
Yeah.
We need a more universalized structure in which we can give platforms like us can give platforms to smaller teams that deserve their stint in European football and don't deserve to get packed in 5-0 by PSG or Roma, right? And I mean, if we're talking about big slip-ups, I mean, Paris FC, man. This is how you got to, if you're going to stay in line for second, if you're going to challenge your Parisian rivals.
If you're going to try and actually get a good run in for the Champions League.
Matteo FC scoring a great goal. Clara, absolutely brilliant. But Nantes, man, their defense, they drew to PSG earlier in the year and they showed why they can do it again. And their goals were at the perfect times.
Yeah.
They were almost endemic in certain ways of how to manage a game and how to make your opposition as frustrated as possible. Making a mistake at the 45th minute is, firstly, Paris FC have done this already. So they have a track record now against Real Madrid in the UWCL. Killed them all game. They were 1-0 up, 95th minute, got complacent on that set piece. Caroline Weir scores that goal. 1-1, 45 minutes plus 1, they make a mistake at the back, laid out, trying to deal with the press. Imaine Saoud for Nantes comes in, fires a goal, 1-1. Then they fought back, and then there was an injury to the goalie, an actual injury to the goalie. They made a few subs, stoppage in play. The first attack from the stoppage, they score again, 2-1. So clearly, when the game is being managed, like while the ball is rolling, they're doing a good job of dictating the tempo of the game. They had a lot of chances. I mean, having 20 chances, I believe. Only 5 were on target. 8 shots from outside the box. Nantes have done their job in making sure that the chances that Paris FC takes are low. Koroshek was the only one I thought had a decent chance at goal. 5 shots blocked, 5 outside the box, 15 off target. That's a perfect... 20 shots is very indicative of intentionality in a game, and I think we don't talk about that enough. We just go, oh, one team had 20 shots, the other team had 4. They must have dominated them. No, if it's intentional, then players like Toloba go out the back in the 67th minute, score and get a winner, and then you look at yourself like, okay, you've got all these shots. How is the quality of chance? Why is your XG below 2 if you've had 20 shots?
I think if you're a Paris FC fan, then it is a very idealistic endeavor. I mean, you're pitting yourself up against not only like these established ARKEMA greats in PSG and Lyon, but you're also pitting up against like the fact that these teams have unlimited funds, that these teams also have experience in the league. Remember, Paris FC is not a like established ARKEMA team either.
They're actually kind of a pseudo like enigmatic club in the sense of that their financial structure is very strong. They're same as the men's side. Like they are almost, for the lack of a better term, an industry plant in the D1 ARKEMA in the sense of that they built a Parisian rival for them that isn't anyone groundbreaking. But the reality is that if they don't get their act together, their best players, if I'm Arsenal, I'd be looking at Koroshek thinking, I need a backup 8, and personally, she's better at doing the defensive work than Palova or Kairakuni Cross. She offers a different place. She won't be that expensive because she's not a French international. She is an international. I think she's captain. But she's not French. It's not going to cost you $600,000 or $1 million for a Stanway. Like, she'd be a good Stanway sub. Yeah, that's the player I'd be looking at. If I'm Manchester United or a WSL side, I'd be looking at Clara Matteo.
Well, she signed recently a renewal, and that to me was surprising.
But contracts can get broken.
I know.
It's not hard for an NWSL side like Angel City to decide, I'm going to put 7 figures down and I'm going to give you an offer you can't refuse.
There's obviously also the business part of it, which is like you sign a renewal just to get something out of it. Yeah. So just to get a fee out of it.
And the allure of Lyon and PSG are always there. I could see Matteo moving across.
I could see Matteo not staying in ARKEMA. I think she should go. I think she should go to the WSL or at least try somewhere else because I think that she has skills to play.
100%. I think she's great. I think she could do it in Italy if she really wanted to.
Great show.
I think no issues there. But we are going to leave Europe for a bit and go down under my lot, who provided a very unconvincing
You were concerned.
Yeah,
you were a bit
anxious. I didn't like the complacency at the end of the game, but we take the 3 points. A McNamara, not less, but no goal from McNamara this game.
But still had impact.
Means we aren't wholly or bust, which is really, really good. But Aideen Keen's goal was great. I'm still giving player of the match to Danila Buttress.
Love her.
I think she's just the direct running, the separation she gets is sublime.
Do you think she reminds you a bit of Lisa Devana? I think she reminds me a little bit of Lisa Devana.
I think everyone that is remotely good in the dub reminds you of Lisa Devana.
I don't know. I think it's a compliment. I think
it is a very huge compliment
the direct running, the skill, the decisiveness. I think she's smart.
Do you think she's Lisa Devana in the sense that she could like stay in the league that long, or do you think there's an incentive for her to go elsewhere?
I mean, Lisa Devana left. She went to the States. I think Buttress should go somewhere else. I don't think that she should stay here.
She's the peacekeeper here. Buttress Garley. Shout out to anyone who gets that joke, by the way. I don't think she would, but shout out to Otto. She was inverting this game. She was playing really, really well. But again, when we cover for our inverts, it is a struggle, and that's what happened, and that's how Pia Vlok gets her chance later on in this game, and it's a testament to Otto being out of position for moments where we accelerate our possession and try to press and advance. Holly Mack had a good chance from a set-piece corner that fell to her 3 yards from the goal, which, I mean, if Holly Mack's in that position, how many times would you expect her to bury that? Probably 95, 98 times out of 100. That was the 2 out of 100 that it goes wide.
All the 9s for City just having an off week, basically.
Yeah, I guess it is. Maybe the City Football Group is endemic. I need to check. I need to check all the other teams we own. Maybe Girona's women's side, their talismanic 9 had an issue there. But we did cop a goal. I mean, Keen's goal was good, but I mean, ultimately we just worked hard, and we provided both goals. I think we need to be able to hold the game for more than 90 minutes at this point. So that Hail Mary ball from Nunn to Woods that ends up in the goal is because Otto got caught out of position when we were aggressively pressing, and then they play that long ball, and strong attacks will catch out our strong defence. And it makes sense, but in injury time makes me very nervous when we only have a 1 goal left.
I do think that the Knicks will struggle without Samba. I think that...
Oh yeah, big time. That ACL is depressing.
That's an
She
ACL
was-
and meniscus.
Yeah, and
Mad.
both. So it might be more than 12 months. Especially, might not even be the same player
Well,
again.
she
And
signed the
it's-
2 year, so that means that she'll only really get a year out of that
And
contract.
also, she just started cooking as
Yeah,
well.
true.
She was on fire. But I think it was again, more convincing than I'm making it out to be. But in the sense
These are
that,
the games that I think that you win and you don't really think about when it comes to the end of the season. You think more about the win over us, for example, than a 2-1 over the Knicks at KC.
I don't disagree with you in that way. But I mean, it is nice to have 3 games in hand, still at the top of the league, which is crazy. But it only happens because when you're looking at teams like Melbourne Victory, they aren't delivering any sort of semblance of fear.
Of fear or of form?
No, both. I think I should be afraid of my rivals. I should be looking at them going, you know what, they're gonna go into every game and they're gonna wipe the floor with whoever they come up against.
Well,
Unless it's like don't get me wrong, I think CCM are on a run of form. Rasmussen's doing great. I think Brisbane got their act together now, and obviously Perth are making a run for it now. But I don't know who's challenging us.
I don't think that there is, and I think, as I've said to you before, consistency comes with quality, and I do not think that there is enough quality in the W League to demand a level of consistency to rival a team like Melbourne City. I think Victory had a bit of a nothing game against Brisbane. We looked tired and lethargic. I don't really have anything to say bar the fact that we could have gotten a point out of this game.
Got the Man City-esque set piece goal.
Yeah, we did, and
late on as well.
yeah, it was.
Complacent.
I just think, I mean, the last shot, I believe it was Kennedy White 1v1. They're the players that you look at and you go, that's where you should slot it in. She didn't slot it in. I didn't leave this game disappointed. I left it thinking, we've now gotten the double over Brisbane. I mean, they've done the double
your
over
text
us.
to me was far more than disappointing.
I
I guess
think
in the moment.
In the moment, I think that there was I was upset because Brisbane are not the same Brisbane that we even faced in the first game week.
Absolutely not.
And so now we're facing a Brisbane that has weaknesses, their weaknesses have been exploited throughout the season. And Victory just came up looking kind of dumb. Like we really came up into the home of the Matildas and looked like we did not know who our opposition were. We didn't even know who our familiar was. Like we didn't know who our peers were on the pitch. We weren't playing.
They locked up Policino.
And that's the thing. When Policino is locked up, then we don't really have an outlet to attack, but we also struggle coming back to defend.
Yeah, they did their homework on your lot, and I think that was the key. They abused those flanks, took the territory, and then forced the set pieces, which one eventually goes in. I wanted to shout out Perth. I mean, it was a week for goalies, to be fair. The Sydney FC goalie had a blinder, but Perth Glory's goalkeeper, ex-McKinnon Secondary College alum, was in my year as well. Teresa Morrissey, she's played 5 games for Perth, 3 man of the matches. Wow. They've won 4 out of 5, and she's averaging an 8.5, 8.2, 8.3, wow. And the only game where they didn't win was against us when Holly Mack scored a hat trick against her. So
and let me guess, that was away from home.
I mean, yeah, it was at our home, but also none of the goals were her fault. Yeah. I couldn't blame her for any of them. But she's having an absolute blinder start to her time at Perth. I believe she's on loan from, I don't know if it's Western Sydney or Sydney, but she's having a great time. And shout out to Teresa, because always been a baller and still is a baller. Italy's football providing the best it can.
And to a legacy baller, if you will.
I mean, this is the game of games. The Italian Supercoppa final, Juventus versus Roma, and we had a magnificent game. This was a legacy game, not just for Girelli. We'll get to Girelli, but when I like cup finals, because it makes sure that the best players deliver, and it's on both sides. So it was early, but who else would you expect to score for Roma in a final other than Giuliano? Does it again. The slow technical brilliance, the calm finish in the box, the Dybala celebration as well.
She does that. She does love the Dybala.
It was like there was something again, something
mystique.
about Italian
There's
football.
A mystique
it's just
about
romantic.
That. Yeah.
It's just so beautiful. It's such a homage to what Roma is, and like that's what Italy does better than every other country, is that they make football so heritage listed and so heritage pilled. And I mean, then this is where the barrage of attacks kept going for Juve.
I think Juve needed a goal scored against them just to kick them into gear, really.
Seriously. I mean, Godo hits the post. Godo was running the show in the first half, crossed that deep ball to Vansgaard, who did this weird wacko volley that went wide, but it would have been amazing if it went in.
Mm-hmm.
But then poor mistakes from Roma in their backline, which we've seen countless times in the UWCL. I mean, the balls across the box. I remember Chelsea ripping them apart, same way. But it was a bad cross from Bakary, but Baldi makes the mistake, and Vangsgaard comes in, poaches, pounces. You've got a goal in a final. And it's pretty amazing. And then I'm kind of glad Juve scored because it opened up the game completely. Then there was long distance shots from Greggy, and then Giuliano going the other way. It was back and forth. De Jong doing well for Juve's goalie. Peru Magnon not in this game, by the way. I don't know if she's injured or she's left or what's happened to her.
Well, she's going.
She is going? Yeah, I thought so. So they need to really build into this new goalkeeper, De Jong, who didn't have a bad game. No. But the big standout in the second half, for Roma at least, was Alaya Pilgrim.
Yeah, my Swiss baller.
Came on off the bench, menacing in that second half. Should have probably scored, had a one-on-one.
Yeah.
Oh, saved by De Jong. Ripper save. And then we get to the moment, the 85th minute. Lenzini, ain't nobody like Lenzini. Makes me happy. And then plays the ball to Girelli. Not the best ball, but the best ball, because she flicks it in back heel, 12 yards, the control, 35 years old, gets the winner. Celebration, scenes, mental. GOAT of Italian football strikes again in the final, the biggest of players in the biggest of games, delivering once again.
This is her 12th Supercoppa, which is absolutely mad. Her 32nd Italian domestic trophy. Oh. I think you have to start recognizing, as a football community, you have to start recognizing that there are legacy strikers outside of the US and outside of England, and Girelli just is that. And I think in 10 years, when we're looking back and we're having a retrospective on what is the fundamental years of Serie A women's football in Italy, we will be looking at Girelli more than just a pillar and more than just a player that did it in these moments, but as a real ceiling. You need to get to that level to be the best, and she is the best.
No one is getting to this level.
No?
10 league titles, 9 Coppa Italias, 1 Serie A Women's Cup. Only 1 Serie A MVP, must have been robbed about 12 times. But then you can make the argument, she's playing for Juve, she's always going to win. She's done it at 3 clubs. Yeah. Done it at 3 clubs. It doesn't matter where she goes. Yeah, literally, since you have been born.
I was born the same year.
You were born the same year. Girelli dominated Italian domestic football for women, and she set the standard. If you want to be the best player in Italy, you can't. You just can't, because the dominance level isn't possible. This is a girl that is so magnetic. Wherever she goes, the silverware follows, right? That's just the reality. And I mean, this is the thing, is that Roma will continue to challenge the league, but Juve will continue to challenge them so long as Girelli is in this squad. And if they fall short against VFL in the UWCL over 2 legs, if they get through, amazing feat. But Juve will go for it. And they've got the experience, they've got the pedigree, they've got all the things they need to win the league. It's just a matter of, do they go for the Champions League? Is it a null and void? Obviously, there is legacy in the sense of that from my recollection, I don't remember them being in a Champions League semi-final or a final for that.
I believe they may have been in a final, but I don't believe that, as in in the final stages.
Yes.
But I don't believe that they'd made it anywhere past that.
I can't recall, at least in the last 10 years, being in a semi. But the reality is that if they're going to do it, it's going to be with her. And, I mean, Valti being in the midfield, having a very good game for Juve.
Potentially also bringing players in as well.
Exactly. Yeah. If it's Kirby, Valti and Girelli, they can beat VFL. They can give them a game. Whether it's easy, I don't think so. I think VFL are definitely the favourites. But even with Kirby in and out of the squad, she could provide an extra 3-5 points that give them the gain on Roma.
I've always said this about Roma versus Juve. I think Juve have the upper hand of individual games on one-offs. I just personally, and this is my conviction as to why I think Roma will win the league, I just think that they manage the league better.
Well, they've got nothing left.
They have nothing left. And as you well know as a Manchester City fan...
That was intentional.
Yes.
We came fourth on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. You need to have basically all your chips in the one.
We didn't waste the Champions League, though. We didn't go in the Champions League to fail.
Sure.
Like, for example...
At least we went in and won.
If Roma win the league and they have had this UWCL campaign, you could still say that their year is like a B+, a B or a B flat. Like, to win the league is impressive, but to get smacked out of the Champions League in the way they did is not admirable in any sense. And it makes it worse that your counterparts are going forward into the playoffs, likely might end up in a game against Lyon. By the way, not an easy run for Lyon.
But as we know,
I mean, VFL, I reckon Lyon are looking at VFL as the easier matchup because they stylistically match up better than the miserliness of the Italian backline. Sure. Yeah. And we saw it in the group stages when Juve were 3-0 up against them. Like, they've got the conviction and belief that they can do that again, and I don't think VFL go into a game against Lyon and think, we're going to beat these guys 3-1, 4-1. Exactly. And it means a lot. But shout out to Cristiana Ronaldo Girelli. Like, my God, she is just the GOAT. The Italian GOAT, no question about it. But that kind of wraps up the what happened in Woso section of our podcast. Confirmed transfers. Obviously, this is filmed on the 16th, Friday at 10:30. So apologies if something has happened just now that we haven't seen.
I saw quickly as we were doing our break that Hoffenheim's keeper Dick has been
Laura Johanna Dick.
Apparently, Arsenal are going for her.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my
Breaking
God.
news, guys.
That is Benchwarmers alum.
Yeah.
I love that. We mentioned her in like week 1 of the pod when she had an amazing game, but. I rate that for you. I don't know if she's a second keeper.
No,
she's actually put her on the level of
Annika Borba.
Yeah, I do
too.
Very similar level. Yeah. They can both pull up worldy performances. But Stanway, Bayern, leaving, haven't chosen a destination yet, but probably has chosen her destination.
I think we just have to quickly talk about this fad in German football where they announce that they're going to leave a half season before they do leave.
Love it.
I
love
dislike it so much. I think that
What a shock.
I dislike leave when it is acceptable to announce that you've left. Leave when you've left, right? That's when you can announce that you're leaving. Yeah. In my opinion.
Do you not see football as like an occupation? Like it's not a job.
I don't
like. She's giving notice. She's giving notice to the fans.
This is not a white collar club. This is not a white collar club. This is.
She's not just going. Bye, have a great time.
That's how everyone has done it for
But now
eons.
the director, Bayern's director can go, okay, she's leaving. Now we can scout.
But they know that she's leaving. She doesn't have to announce it to the fans. So then when Stanway has a drop in form, Bayern get knocked out of the Champions League.
I respect it. She is trying to leave something behind at Bayern. She's going to give her best, and then she's going to go, I like it. I've got no issue.
And now I'm going to your rivals across the continent. Like it's
yeah. Well, they're not rivals. It's not rivals.
We are rivals. We've been rivals with Bayern for yonks.
It's not, but it's not real. It's not real.
I say that to Clara Bull when I see her again personally.
If you saw Clara Bull, you would crap yourself and you'd ask her to sign a Bayern kit. You would.
Yeah, but then
she's the best player in the world. You wouldn't be like who to be Guna. You would not. There is no right. Like don't get me wrong. I'm all for Chelsea Arsenal. I'm all for Chelsea Tottenham. Don't act like you have a rivalry with a team that remontadas you week in, week out.
I'm just saying that there is an active rivalry there just because you're not an Arsenal fan.
You can hate, you know who you can hate? You can hate Pernille Harder.
Sure, okay, I do hate Pernille Harder.
She's rent-free in Arsenal.
But anyway, Stanway potentially to Arsenal. If we don't get this deal done, I think we call for something to happen. I don't know what it is.
Go to LCL. I dare you. just for the anger. I actually don't want her to go anywhere in the WSL personally.
Well, she's going to WSL.
I know she's going to go back to England because no English person can really stay.
They can't stay away for too long.
I mean, to be fair, she has been there for a relatively
and she's done
long time.
Really good job.
And she's been, I'd argue she's she's England's number one midfielder. I think she's
I
the
agree.
best.
I agree.
I think she's better than Walsh. I think she's better than Toon. I think she's levels above them. She's the one who can put the team on her back.
Yep.
She was the one that Bayern entrusted to put the team on the back. Like Harry Kane has gone there in the eyes of Stanway. That's what Stanway has done for Bayern in terms of solidifying the midfield, leading, being the penalty taker.
Yeah.
That is leadership,
Yeah.
right? And I think the only team I can see her in the WSL is Arsenal. I don't see her in a Chelsea shirt. I don't see her backing out.
City
our team
definitely
especially.
don't
We
need any more
her.
midfielders.
We'll get to that in a second. But we'll get there. But we are going to go to Ian Wright's number one goat, Jenna.
My goat too.
Jenna.
I love my
The
goat.
day and night swanger. Night swanger does sound like a superhero. The night swanger.
No, nice one sounds like some 19th century fairy tale.
Like a club.
Yeah, sure.
Like a little diner. The nice swanger. Have you been to the nice swanger? Well, it's in Birmingham, so I don't care anymore. It's on loan to Aston Villa. And look, I wrote this late at night, but I feel like it's better to just read it out. But I want to be real, right? This is a decision that makes absolute sense, that will be perceived as big when it really shouldn't be a criticism of Arsenal's management or sporting directors. This sounds like PR, but it's not. Managers do this, clubs do this, clubs are ambitious, do this, and they get criticised, but it actually shows the difference between good managers and good directors and bad managers and bad directors. Football is a cruel sport. With a lot of luck, managers make decisions and we disagree with them, but that's the point. That's the ambition. Believing in your ability, trusting your instinct with your transfers. To take a player like Smilla, deserved her cameo, was fantastic. You can be that person, and you can argue that Jenna is deserved more of a cameo in the tapestry of Renee Ball, like what she's been given already. But it's not malice. I don't think it's malice.
No.
It's capacity to not work with each other, and I think Jenna is good and will continue to play football at a level that she can for someone else, and Arroyo might be that person, but it's not rude, and it's also a loan as well, and I think Arsenal fans will not like that, but this is the natural progression of football evolution. You don't get played, you get frustrated, you're an American who's looking to play first team football, go somewhere else, play 90, get Villa top 5 maybe, or beat United next week, come in and beat United and see what happens after the FA Cup. But the reality is that this is a good move. I would argue this is a better move for Niswanger and Villa than it is for Arsenal, in the sense of that Arsenal could have recouped some funds, Arsenal could have taken her off the wages, could have done heaps of stuff. I don't know why you loan in someone when the reality is that if she came back, there's still not a place for her.
Well, as I said, I think we have a problem with letting players go. I think that Renee potentially sees a lot of something in her. Can you stop singing? Please.
It's just funny.
Every segment, it's like,
it's just
I
funny.
say something.
It's just so funny because it's like this sentimentality for players who don't even play.
I don't have the sentimentality for it. I know that Arsenal do. I understand.
So would you want her gone? Sign her
I
up.
would want her gone.
Yeah. How much would you take for her?
Well, how much did she come in for?
I don't know.
Because
like
it'd be
300, 400?
I would say no way.
Maybe more,
No
maybe
way.
more
I'm
less.
giving like 170.
170 you
Yeah.
paid for her. Wasn't she like an up and coming youngster?
And that's the thing. And that's the thing.
You bought her on potential.
Do you buy a flower that is like half blossomed already without knowing whether it will die or not? No.
Yeah, but
you
if
buy
they're
a
really
flower
good
that is.
seeds,
Yeah, we buy good seeds,
yeah,
but she's not a
sowed your
seed.
oats now.
She's not a seed, and she also isn't a fully blossomed flower. So, in my opinion, Jenna Niswanger was a great little experiment for Renee. She was great covering the games that we had before the Champions League when we had a horrendous form just to get into good form for the Champions League final.
But that isn't the ambition of Jenna Niswanger.
No,
correct?
and those things can misalign, and they have misaligned.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like I think that as a football club, you mentioned it and you said it perfectly. If you are the best in the world, the best in Europe, then you have to be
positions of strength.
You have to be cutthroat.
Yeah, and I think it's silly when your biggest PRs are scapegoating Jenna Niswanger, being like, "Oh, I'm so glad she's getting a run of form." What is she? You're not on the training ground. Maybe she didn't deserve her.
No,
run of
our
form.
biggest PR people are those in the club who are sentimental about holding on to players and building them and growing them. But Jenna Niceswanger didn't come to us at 12 years old.
No.
She came to us in her 20s, 23, I presume, and she isn't and wasn't ready for it. I think she'll do a good job at Villa if she gets the time. I hope she gets the time. But I think at the end of the season, she has to go.
We'll see how we go. And, I mean, the other Villa counterpart,
Yes.
in a sense, another, I mean, top 2 reject in that sense, but at OJF, Orient Jean-Francois, £450,000. I mean, it's a big move.
Biggest intra-club.
I think this is big. Yeah, that is crazy, but I think it is a big trajectory. I think it's a good move for her. I think imagine her, Kendall together in the middle, Hansen ahead of them, and then Jenna on the left side. Daly up top.
She played 10.
Salmon will come back, and they still have what's her name? Chastity Grant. They have heaps of.
I hate Chastity Grant.
They have heaps of firepower. The question is, can they make them gel together? I wonder if Kendall and Jean-Francois can play together. I mean, this will answer all the questions of whether Jean-Francois is a luxury
I think it's a
player
reality
or not.
check. Exactly, and that's it. I think it's a reality check. I think that she came from a league at PSG, not at Lyon, at PSG, where they weren't favourites. They were kind of cruising. No one really paid attention. Jean-Francois came because Sonia Bonpastor saw something in her. I think she plays very well for France. I think that she hasn't played very well for Chelsea. I really wanted to get a good semblance of form, only to strengthen a Euro class in this Aston Villa team.
From the French
No, just to create.
no, that's for me.
Yeah, sure. But just for me, I would like to diversify the WSL, and I think that a French player at Aston Villa is 3-4 years ago would have been unheard of, especially at Jean-Francois' level.
Dali?
Yes, but that's a great shout. But I think if we're looking in the center of the park, in that position, holding/8.
I think she has the capacity to be the best player at Villa. Yeah. I don't think that's a crazy shout because we've seen it for France. We've seen it in Nations League semi-finals. We've seen it in the Euros. Yeah. It's a possibility, and she's been given the license by Bonaday, so Arroyo should be mimicking that.
It's really interesting that they didn't put her on loan like they did with Hermano. And I found that really fascinating how they sold Jean-Francois, but they want to keep Hermano despite using Hermano less than Jean-Francois.
I think there's more ambitions in midfield.
I think there's so much more PR with Hermano. And I know it sounds cynical.
Interesting.
I know it sounds cynical, but if you just look on the comments of Chelsea's page right now,
that's more endemic of the fact that, again, for example, WSL, the second biggest market for the WSL outside of England is Japan.
Sure.
It's number 2 by a mile, by the way.
Not Australia?
No, they
Really?
are like 65% of the viewership for Man City's FA Cup games and Chelsea's FA Cup games within the comments were Japanese people because they love Hermano. They adore
12, 13, 14
Hasegawa.
players.
The amount of Japanese players that are adored in the WSL. I mean, it makes sense. We have so many good players. I mean, we have Fujino, we have Yamashita. We've built, we've cemented a whole fan base, whether it was monetary ideas or otherwise. I think the quality is shown now that Yamashita is our number 1. Fujino is arguably, in my opinion, one of the best wingers in the league. I think she's becoming one of the most underrated if she's going to end up on the bench. And then Yui Hasegawa, who's pretty much everyone's best 6 in the league. The reality is that when board goals align with team performance goals, that's when everyone's happiest.
Sure.
That's when the big banks are the happiest. And the reality is that if you can facilitate an extra 100,000 people watching by bringing in 3 of your best national players, that's what you got to do.
Well, I mean, Spurs know a thing or two about galvanizing the Asian audience, obviously, with Heung-min Son.
Exactly.
So I think that they'll be very happy with the Hermano deal.
100%. And also, they need that. Naz out with the ACL.
Yep.
This is the right side.
Exactly.
Yeah, Naz on one side.
But also Hermano...
Dopset on the other side.
I think...
There's a fear factor to Tottenham now that will be more than just Tandberg up front.
Yeah.
I mean, I think them 3 up front would actually make for an interesting North London derby and make for an interesting home game where they go to White Hart Lane or something, the old White Hart Lane, and give it a red hot go against a Chelsea. I mean, maybe not the defensive performance, but these are 3 players who can win a match on their day.
That front 3 for Spurs is so Barclays.
Oh, it is prime Barclays.
It's so prime Barclays.
I love that. But I mean, that's what we want to see. We want to see Streets won't forget, but actually playing in different outlets. And I think this would be good for Hermano to get 90 every week.
Okay.
Don't have to sit there getting 7-minute cameos after JRK scored 3 goals. You've got no chance. But then we move to a few different signings around the grounds. Torpy has gone to
Caitlin Torpy,
Newcastle. I think she'd start, to be honest.
I think she starts,
but Demi Stokes doesn't get in ahead of her. I don't think.
I have a problem with Torpy moving to Newcastle if it's the same move as how Van Egmond went to Brum, in the sense that is she just going there to kind of get a feel of England to then make the potential move up to the WSL?
100%.
Because, again, I don't want her next 3 years wasted in WSL2 with a Newcastle team. And I know that they have ambitions to move up, and I think they will inevitably move up.
If she looks like she's better than the rest.
And I think she is. I really do think she is.
So if she provides the goods, then Leicester's on the cards.
Yes.
A team like Villa could be on the cards. I don't know if they need that left back if they've got Jenna now and they're loaning her and they end up turning out permanent. But LCL on the cards. I mean, there's no reason why she wouldn't. But ultimately, I don't see anyone moving to Newcastle with they're not looking to promote. They're looking to build a platform, a portfolio. And I think that's what she was doing in America.
I think with America, I think it was interesting. I think she really suits the Yank style of football. I think she was really done over at San Diego. I think that she should have stayed there. Giannis isn't an idiot. And then at Portland, I think that she had...
Bingo. I got bingo for Benchwarmers.
I think at Portland she was just underutilized. So I hope at Newcastle she gets frequent game time, and I hope that lends to a good Asia Cup for her.
I mean, 100%, and I think there's an argument to say she starts for us on that left side. I would argue Jamila Rankin would give her a good game, give her a good run, but we'll see who Jomo picks. I think it's probably Torpy.
Yeah.
We'll see how who.
Well, I think Rankin
how the right side looks as well.
Rankin right now is the better player, I think, but Torpy is the player who excites, I think.
Yeah, and there's a lot of players where we will question once we get closer to the Asia Cup and when the squad is finally filled out, and then we'll have some really good content for you guys. I promise you, don't worry. But
did you want to talk about the Sam Coffey signing in the kind of enveloping of...
Oh, well, I think it was very endemic by the fact I've been just
of
drinking.
the England... I mean, if you finish England...
I hate coffee.
You do.
But the amount of coffee I've been drinking in the last few days, it's just... I'm so coffee-pilled. It's so great.
You're an addict.
I mean, I've spoken about it so much. People... You can now see my personal TikToks where I go crazy, but...
I just watch them and cry.
Yeah, and you should, because she should be yours, right? And this is actually something I did want to talk about on the pod. This is the one part. Just because a player is a fan of a club...
I agree.
...doesn't mean a club is a fan of a player. Yeah? So all these fans that are like, oh, we couldn't even get a player who liked us. That happens. That happens all the time. Do you think that there are players that are just like, oh my god, I wanted to go to Arsenal, but only Tottenham wanted to sign me. Oh, I'm just gonna wait out. No, that's not how it works.
Do you think Declan Rice was a lifelong Arsenal fan?
Declan Rice walked into the Emirates. He's like, we're home. Yeah. You know when Rachel Daly went into Villa Park, she was like, I'm home. I'm home. Like, my god.
I do agree.
Like, Sam Coffey. We've been trying to get this signing done for a year, according to the reports. 750,000.
That's interesting because a year, knowing that then at the same time you sign 2 midfielders in Lohman and Clinton, one of which basically fills the Sam Coffey role anyway.
Yeah.
I think my only thing with this...
Wait, would you say that in the sense of that...
They're both sixes.
Lohman is that ultimate brute with a bit of technical brilliance.
To me, it's now, you talked about it earlier, and I'd like to get your opinion, the pecking order, the hierarchy. Yeah. Where does she fit in? Does she fit in? And what happens to Grace Clinton and Sydney Lohman?
Okay, if you asked me 6 months ago, I would have told you Coffey low-key is on the fringes. I would have said you could go take it or leave it. So Grace Clinton coming from United, Coffey coming from Portland, and then Sydney Lohman coming from Bayern. You asked me to rank the 3 6 months ago. I would have gone on form. You could go Clinton, Coffey, Lohman.
Interesting.
On ability, personally, I would have said Lohman, Coffey, Clinton. Personally, for what I believe their ceiling to be. Now, I look at it and look, I've seen Sam Coffey this year a lot more than I did last year. I think Sam Coffey is definitely in, as much as I hate to say it, because I think Blinkilda Brown is coming into her own, and I don't want to disrupt that. But I've said it so many times. Yui, Coffee, Viv is just a terrifying midfield for any team in Europe. And I don't care, like APA, sure, we beaten them with all three of them on the park. We didn't have Coffee. Yui can deal. Yui can play it, and Viv is dangerous no matter who she comes up against. And anyone who keeps going Viv is a striker, get over it. She's now the best 10 in the league. It's tough. She can be the best 10 and a striker. You can be that good. That happens to players. Remember when Wayne Rooney was the best striker and then the best 10? That's what happens, right? It's a real thing. I think Coffee is safe. It's a safe sign.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no way it can be bad. That's the thing, is that I want her to galvanize the squad, not disrupt the harmony that's happening.
I don't think she's a player that will
make sure that doesn't happen.
Obviously, I think I can assuredly say I've watched a bit more Sam Coffey than you have.
100%. I hate watching Americans.
Yeah.
I don't like Americans in the sport. This is the first American since Sam Mewis that's been at the club. Man City
Similar
have only
ilk.
had 6 Americans, both Menso and Woso together, and they've only played a combined total of about 30 games. So I think this could be easily the best American that plays for Manchester City.
I think that this has the signing factor that someone like a Mariona has for Arsenal. I don't say that lightly. I say this from seeing Sam Coffey, seeing what she can do defensively, offensively. She will win you games, and not only that, next season
I'm excited to see her win
she will get you into a Champions League fight. She will. The mentality, and that's one of the things, we may hate it from the outside, but you have to respect it. The American mentality just is it oozes and it flows into the squad.
Okay. The last question I'll ask you, which I mean it's not rage bait in any way. I promise.
This whole podcast has been rage bait.
But if we're going like Uwabi, Rose, Kanak, Caspi, Yui, Coffee, Viv, Carolyn, Hempo, Bunny, Yammer in goal, is that the number 111 in the league?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. I think so, yes. And I think it only strengthens with the bench, particularly Mary Fowler.
And then our bench front four, by the way, is Mary Fowler, Fugino, Murphy, or whoever we're going to put in that pocket. But Iman Bene, it can be Iman Bene. And then, I mean, if we make the intra-club signing and City Football Group does their job, Holly Mack in the 9. Holly Mack, second striker. But you could also put Viv in the 9.
But that's the thing. I think the biggest thing for you coming into next season is getting a replacement / someone to help out Bunny Shaw.
Yeah, and that will be the plan. I think if we want to get someone who replaces Bunny that does that job, we need someone who's building into it, not expecting to play. Sure. So, for example, Imade is a great cover for Bunny, but Imade won't want to sit behind him.
And Leah Schuler wouldn't have been a good
thing. Leah Schuler wouldn't want to sit. Yeah. Leah Schuler's gone to Man United to be their starting striker, not to sit behind Turland or Mallard. Mallard's going to shift to the wing, but I'd be looking at Schroeder. I'd be looking at Jordan Barr. I'd be looking at youngsters that we can develop, similar to the way in which we do in the Menso, right? Yeah. Mubama is not old. He's not bad. But we need to be able to facilitate a striker who's going to be comfortable with the fact that Bunny's going to play 90 a lot, and maybe it'll be 85 now and you get 5 minutes to shine, but you've got to be an impact player that comes off the bench. Stina. No,
that would be all right.
No, that would be hilarious. But I mean, I just love that there was.
You wish you had Wangerheim. That's who you wish.
Wangerheim would have been. I did want Wangerheim for a long time. Now you are. Yuck, United pills. I can't do that now. But Wangerheim makes no sense in my opinion because she's going to sit behind Turland. She's going to sit behind Mallard. She's going to sit behind Schuler. Wangerheim, you could go to Everton and be their starting striker.
But you can't argue that knowing now you have like 6 midfielders. Like you can't argue about depth now. You have enough midfielders.
Or them.
Like they have enough forwards to fill a boat. You have enough midfielders. We have enough midfielders.
100%. But Bunny is the issue. I don't want Mary Fowler as the false 9 striker.
Neither do I.
As much as she did a great job filling in.
Sure.
That's not the
She's
goal.
better on the wing.
She's better in the 10. That's the reality. I think the problem is that Fowler, and I didn't even mention Grace Clinton. Clinton will have to come in, but Clinton I think should fall deeper. I think
Clinton's
you can
gone.
have.
One of them has to go.
I think the second 3 being Lohman, Clinton, and Mary Fowler is fantastic. But I think with Champions League, I think if they all are happy under the Yeglert system, I think the one that's least likely to be happy is probably Grace if she's not getting 90.
Yeah.
But I think she's recognised that there is a pecking order, and if you're trying to play ahead of Vivian Miedemar, then you're at the wrong club, right? And that's just what happens. And now...
Quick fire?
1 second. I'm going to put that in the charger. Because it might go out of battery soon. Oh yeah, big time.
George says your shirt looks impressive.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cute. Alright. Alrighty. Quick fire?
Yeah, quick fire.
Let's do it. Club America. Going for trophies this year.
It has to be.
Let's do it. Shout out Soph, by the way. I'm Club America pilled.
I'm not Club America pilled. I'm Tigres pilled.
Horrible. How have we done this again? We've done this again. We just can't sit on the same side for any team ever. It's just the elites of the elites. But if they're going to do it, this is the year, right?
And Gabby Garcia will be a talismanic figure in that. She is the Jenny Hermoso-esque signing. She's the one that's going to be getting those wonder goals from outside the box. She's the one that's going to be facilitating and distributing.
Pieces, mate. Cross it into that 6'2" head.
You're the one who loves her. You're the one who raves
Gabby
about
Garcia
her.
Pilled. Yeah. Honestly, top 15, progressive 6 to 8 in the league. She's, what Club America deserve. Match-winning quality. And... look, this is, it's kind of sad because I wanted to see what she could do elsewhere, but the reality is that Club America have a lot to prove. And when you're looking at the team that they've built over the last 4 or 5 years, the amount of finals they've got to, they need to be able to deliver. And another player who can do it in a final is Jace, right? Yeah. This is the ultimate journeywoman in a lot of ways.
Didn't I say I won a trophy every season since, 2022, 23?
That's crazy. Mad. I mean, other than the loans, just absolutely mental. But she wants to win. Yeah. And this is one of those players that, makes me think you can just... she does have the capacity to do it. She just needs to have her head in the game, right? And, this could be the, I kind of see Jace as, very Aubameyang-like in the sense of that she's got the quality. Yeah. She doesn't always deliver it. She can cause fights, can cause a bit of controversy. But the reality is that if she can get Club America to something that they've worked so hard to get there, but it is Hail Mary. This is the last chance that the Club America manager has to, how many finals can you lose until they change the pecking order? But Jace and Gabby Garcia together,
it's massive.
You've got to move the needle
European
a little bit,
European
right?
quality there.
You've got to hope so.
But I saw a fantastic article in The Guardian by Losomer talking about how Liga MX is in the top 5 leagues at the moment in the world, and she thinks it's the next destination league. And if anything, I'm thanking God it's not Saudi and it's Liga MX. At least it's a country and a federation that wants to invest in their women's team.
But just wait until Saudi start getting their mitts all over it. I can't wait till Saudi's in the hands. When Michelle Kang reveals herself as a Saudi cultural industry plan for Woso, I can't wait. That would be the best What Would Kang Do ever written. But Angel City.
This is my domain a little bit. The NWSL.
It is your only. It is the domain where I'm just a rival to the whole league. I can say I'm America Tigres, City Arsenal. It's just you like the WSL and I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is. Shout out the soft cap though, but shout out the richest team in the world buying two City up-and-coming players.
Yeah. So. Emily Sams, I love her. I think she is a baller. I think without her, Orlando wouldn't have gone on to have...
Was she in the team of the year? Yeah.
She was in the team of the year 2024. She was also the defender of the year in 2024.
Does that make her a high impact player?
She is a high impact player in my eyes.
Crazy.
But no, she is also solid in the US team. So this is another US national team player that Angel City can bed into their team. I think the problem with Angel City has always been that 3 in the back system. I just don't think it works for them, and I am interested to see how Sam's fit into their seeing as she's come from a 4-back system.
You're not wrong. But it's an interesting player, and also just Angel City being as you said, perennially poor at the back. They need some leadership, they need some experience, and ultimately this is a matured Sam.
I was surprised because I thought that her and Orlando were really in sync in terms of the trajectory of each other. Orlando want to be the biggest club in the NWSL. I think Sam's wants to be in the light of Naomi Girma leaving.
Would you rather live in Orlando or in Angels, the city of Angels?
Isn't it not like really close to one another?
They're not. What? Orlando.
I'm really bad at geography.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I can't. I need a TikTok for this. You think Orlando and LA?
I don't know. I just kind of think that because we're not searching this up.
We are because this is funny.
We're cutting this. No way.
Yeah, this is great. This is unbelievable. So
maps.
Yeah, let's do maps. This is Leggy saying that Orlando and LA are very close.
Oh my god, they're
literally
oh my
on
god,
opposite sides of the country.
Oh my god.
Yeah, would you rather be East Coast?
I thought that they were really close to one another because they have kind of the same vibe. Okay,
no, not like us.
Sorry,
not like us. They have the same vibe on the other side of the country. It's an 8-hour flight, by the way. But again, AC have a lot of money and a lot of space. And that's where Borges comes in as well.
And it is the AT replacement finally, I think. I think this is where they get that long-awaited, long ball and run. They get that player who can drive a player.
As well.
She can play basically anywhere in the front three. She's a PK taker.
Replacement.
Yes, a Kristen Press replacement. I personally would have wanted someone to be older. I mean, just in terms of just a more mature player. Yeah, you have Jons Dottir behind you, Tiernan as well. These are young players.
I think Jons Dottir will go to the left, and then I think Borges could go up front.
Interesting. Yeah. Again, it's the 3-4-3, 3-5-2 situation that they've gone on. Yeah. I don't really know how it's going to work out, but I know Borges.
I wouldn't mind that. Sam left wing back. Into Jons Dottir in the left wing, they invert together, and Borges sits in the middle.
Borges has been wasted for many a year not making playoffs.
She's good on transition, but can they, if Angel City start winning possession, which they do, they like to have possession of the ball. If they're not setting up in a way that doesn't facilitate Borges' best game, then it'll end up like Press's back end of her last year, where she's just not in sync with the team around her, and that sucks. Well, I mean, speaking of a team that has to be in sync around them, it is Lindsay Heaps going home to the newly created Denver Summit. I mean, Lindsay Heaps with her incredibly emotional goodbye after winning basically everything there is to win with Leon for her extended tenure at Leon.
She and many others are alums of that Denver region. I think a lot of the US Women's National Team players of the last 10 to 15 years have come from that region, funny enough. But she's the first real big move for Denver. I think, obviously, Nick Cushing coming in as coach is massive for a new team. But also just, we've heard it from ex-players, we're hearing it from current players, just how good he is as a coach. No matter the gender, no matter the standard of play, he's fantastic.
And that's where I think, as someone who had Emmett City under our best years, even the caretaker moments we had post Gazball, I think Cushing kind of got done dirty a little bit. I think he got handed a pile of like no cohesion and anger and hostility, and was asked to save our league. The reason I could owe Yeglitz a success to the fact that Cushing set up a platform with limited expectation on this year. And Cushing, I mean, you just hear Jen Beattie talk about Nick Cushing and the things that he helped out her with in that podcast. I mean, that's exactly what you want for an inaugural coach. A pillar to look up to, someone who can provide football knowledge as well as like man management as well.
I think Denver are also building with some NWSL ballers. I mean, Ali Watt and Carson Pickett. You know, I love Carson Pickett. I love Carson Pickett. Yeah. And Kaylee Kurtz from NC Courage. I also know that they picked up a Pachuca player as well, Aoki. Okay. So I think that's just a bit of flair, a bit of interest. A bit of youngsters. Do you think this is a development?
A development club?
Yeah.
Do you think there's ambitions to not be at the bottom at least?
Look, from what I know of the teams that have come into the NWSL more recently, I'm thinking Angel City, I'm thinking SD Wave. One had a really bright light and is now facing the consequences of maybe hitting too fast, too hard, too early. Versus Angel City, who I think has really underperformed in its first years of inception, and to its detriment as a club because we've expected so much. So if Denver can kind of fit within that mold of recognizing the wrongs of the past, not being too unambitious and not bringing in players for the sake of it versus bringing just players in just to get, a good couple seasons out of them and then kind of plateau, I think the signing of Lindsay Heaps will be incredible, especially knowing that she wants to be in the US alongside US players for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And I think
Heaps. It doesn't really matter how Denver Summit go.
Yeah.
Heaps will be a part of the squad. Hayes knows the level that she can play. I wonder how Heaps will react to not dominating every game all the time.
True.
And it'll show a different side of Lindsay Heaps.
I think that her time later on with Lyon has shown that. I don't think she's dominating at Lyon for any intensive purpose.
No, not dominating, but having a team where there's limited pressure to perform in that sense. Like performance
She
analysis,
will bring the standard.
She's the number one, right? She's got to be the player that gets them over the line, wins points, changes narratives within the middle of matches. Yeah. But, I mean, this moves us on to rumoured transfer requests / demands / manifestations. Obviously, Kirby... 3 times Juventus has put forward a transfer
fee. Is it Kirby
it's been denied by Brighton, actually. I don't know if Kirby has denied any of it. I don't know what Kirby wants. But what we do know is Kirby wants goals. And wherever she goes, there will be goals. And if she stays at Brighton and she plays 45 minutes here and then misses a few games and then 60 minutes there, she will do what she has to do. But the question is, do they need her at Juve?
I don't think so. I really think that, and this is going to sound harsh, I think Kirby's washed. I do think, and I know you think that she's a game changer at Brighton. I think if you stick her on for 20 minutes, sure. But Juve need a player that can play for longer than 20 minutes.
Central Beth.
I think that there's an argument to say that this type of ilk of player, especially when they're coming up to their last legs, offers only really mentality and IQ. And in the modern game, that's not going to be good enough.
But mentality and IQ is one thing. Having that, her goal record,
which was accrued over many years in her prime,
100%. But the question would be that the fitness is an issue, right? If I'm signing her, you can't expect her to play more than one and a half games every 3 games, and the reality of that is that your expectations change and your fee should change.
Sure.
So that's why I think Brighton are very hesitant to sell her, is because Juve are going, we're signing half a player. We're signing half a player in the sense of not because she's half a player in terms of quality. She's half a player in terms of availability. And I'd rather Fran Kirby be able to play half the output she can with full availability at this point, because the reality is that she can just score. She can score. If you give her any chance within 20 yards, she will bury it. But the question is, she can't facilitate those chances in the WSL anymore. Brighton are progressing beyond a point where they need a player like Kirby to talismanically control the midfield. So why not go to Juve, set up in a form of technical football that allows her the freedom and space to firstly shoot from distance. The amount of long shots that are in the Serie A Femminile is astounding because they lock up so deep. But I think Kirby just needs a fresh space.
I can respect that. Yeah, I honestly, it's gonna sound really funny, but she would have been such a good dub player. Like she could have.
She could have done the poly role.
Yeah,
she could have come to Victory and just run.
I would have said more the Chids role, really.
She also get people. Imagine the Chelsea fans; they all rock up to see Fran Kirby, and you know what? I'd love to see Fran Kirby in the dub. That would Fran, if you're listening, if you're watching, know that in Australia you would be loved and respected like Fishlock was. Any of the WSL legends that have come down to do their business here, or NWSL legends who've come down to do their business here, you'd be treated the same. So I mean, if you like hot weather and you like competition that isn't going to injure your death, the dub is for you. Sure. But then the only one left is Kelly Gago, which, I mean, we understood during the game was already on the bench for Snoyce and Payne up front. But she's sent a transfer request back home. She is homesick. She wants to go back to Viva La France.
Enough.
Is this the PSG?
I think it has to be.
Is this the Katoto replacement?
I think it has to be. I think at this point, it would be unambitious for PSG not to go for her, and arguably it'd be unambitious for Gargo not to try and go for PSG.
Looked her and Gargo up top.
I just think it's a combination of players that I think will work well for PSG in whatever ambition they want to get. Will she win the league? No, but will she get them to some semblance of form, especially for Europe?
15 goals.
15 goals.
Nations League after the semi-final, the goal. 100% she's looking for France. Like, you're not getting into the France national team as a striker playing for Everton and the form that Everton are in currently. Don't get me wrong, I love Sorensen, but they're not doing well outside of home. They're really struggling to keep the ball and facilitate chances for her.
Yeah.
And I think they're very happy with Payne. They're happy with Snoyce.
Yeah.
I think Gargo needs a move, and I think
Gargo needs to
go. Wow. You know what? That was a perfect way to go to the next segment in our Benchwarmers Awards. What are we doing first? Never bench again. The NBA. Who have you got?
Mine's easy. Linari should never be anywhere near the pitch if Lucia Corrales is fit and is available. This is a player of the match.
She won't be on the pitch anymore.
Well, I hope not, because Corrales has started, I believe, 8 out of 11 games or something, maybe 5 out of 8 games, maybe. And I think she has to be starting every single game. Player of the match easily for LCL. Their greatest distributor, their greatest defender, I think.
It's her and Jana and then the rest. But also now that they've gone from a 3 at the back under Prashaw to the 4 at the back under Maestra, Linari's on the bench.
Yeah.
She's going to be one of us, warming L bench. But, I mean, I was going to put Jensen from Atletico because she doesn't really get the plaudits she deserves. Norwegian goat, by the way. But Teresa Morrissey, just so easy. Never bench again. Chuck her in at Perth. I think Perth should fully sign her. Just too good. Completely changed the outlook of Perth. I think Perth are top 6 already, and they look dangerous. And she's going to go for that Team of the Year goalkeeper spot. I think Mires, Newbon, all those goalies got to look out, right? Like you've got a player who's got 3 man of the matches already, so that's it. Super Sub of the week, we had so many to choose from. It's actually insane. Like we didn't really talk about this game, but the Coup de France Féminine was on as well, the French Cup. Lyon won 6-0. Vicky Besho came on, got 2 assists in like 5 seconds.
Jesus.
It was unbelievable. She was so good when coming off the bench for Diani's brace, but it just has to be.
Yeah.
It's Girelli. Girelli, 85th minute, wins the Coppa. That goal, the Italian goat, is the Super Sub of the week for me.
For me, it's Charlotte Lancaster. I caught this game, Newcastle versus Sydney, early this week. I was in awe at her shot. I mean, this was a game where Newcastle had to win. They hadn't won in 5 games. This, to me, could be a turning point. I know I talk a lot about Newcastle and the inconsistency.
We do kind of like them. We do want them to do well.
I want them to do well because...
Melina Ayres-Pill.
Yeah, well, you are, definitely. Yeah. But this goal was insane. Last minute of the game to get a 2-1 win.
It was a great strike. It's unbelievable. And, I mean, there were just so many... The PSG girls, I mean, the Barcelona girls in the 12-1. There were just so many players you could pick.
The Athletic Club keeper as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. Jesus. Santana. Shout out Santana. But the come on the pod, I mean, this is funny. This could go both ways. But I have Renee Sledge.
I hate you so much.
I have Renee Sledge. I bought you a shirt at the start of this pod. The Renaissance.
Yeah.
The Renaissance is over. Yeah. You've got Chelsea in 2 weeks. You have to show. This is your chance. I want you to come on and tell me what you're gonna do against Chelsea, because to me
you can watch the documentary. Watch the documentary. It's on YouTube.
I'll watch the doc. But you're playing Chelsea minimum 5 times this year.
Mad.
Yeah? If you lose to them every time or draw and don't get a win against them, then the precedent is set. Yeah. That there is a monopoly in this league. We might win the league, but if you beat them, then there's also a pillage in the sense of that you're helping us in the league. So she set up this dynamic where I think you're against a 10-player, Tooney-less United, and they were all on the back foot. You had to score to stay within touching distance to establish yourself what you're doing this year, and you signed the contract this week. You had to win that game. And I know it's harsh, but when you're managing the European champions, the margins are razor thin. This is going from the top of Europe to potentially fourth, just through the luck of the draw. And I understand it's harsh. That's what happens. And I wanted to... I actually like Renee Sledger's, the way she talks. I think the way she presents herself, what she means for Arsenal and what she's revitalised in terms of what Jonas kind of didn't destroy but hampered. But there are just some things where I just think to myself, any other person in that position doesn't give your players the license to be that free or doesn't force players to do certain things that they're not good for. And I think there are points in this season where she's going to have to make some tough calls, and whether it's Mariona sitting in the 8 or in the 10, or whether it's Russo drifting wide, or whether it's Caitlin Ford not starting or Beth not starting. We didn't even talk about Beth in your game. I said Beth is fantastic when you're playing against Leuven and you're playing against Paris FC, but when you're playing against a good side,
I actually think she did well. I really honestly think she did well.
I thought she didn't. I thought she didn't offer enough. I think for a team that when you were 10 they were 10 players. That's got to be... I mean, it's not Chloe Kelly at the moment, but it's got to be someone who's pulling the strings, giving Sandberg a hot run. And I don't feel like Sandberg got tested that much. So that's why she's my come on the pod.
Well, your very, very serious come on the pod is contrasted with my very funny come on the pod, which is just Ash Neville. Like, it has to be Ash Neville. I mean, to be honest with you, I think that someone maybe...
Do you actually want her to come on the pod?
Yeah, I want her to come on the pod. I want her hair routine. I want to know how she orchestrated that whole game. I mean, she comes on, they give her like some sort of pseudo guard of honor, and then she scores a goal for Spurs. Like what?
Pseudo guard of
honor?
honor.
I don't know what it was.
It's a guard of honor.
It was a kind of guard of honor, but it was more like we are playing you, but like also thanks for being a club legend.
12
years.
years.
Legend.
And then got a finish for them.
I know, fantastic.
3 points, come on, you Spurs.
It is the last Spursiness that she's just like leaking out of her as she goes over to the Foxes.
She loves most. It's the things you love most that hurt. But that ends our Benchwarmers awards as we move into what would Kang do? Number 19. We have a new edition this week. This is the Qatar Club World Cup edition. For anyone out there who didn't hear, the inaugural Women's Club World Cup staged in January 2028. FIFA announced last Wednesday. No host nation confirmed, but the dates Jan 5th to Jan 30. Crazy dates, by the way, meaning the tournament will be staged in a different country, warm climate, in line with the WSL season. The Liga FA doesn't really properly start. They can manifest that, and a few of the tournaments will struggle with that. But in terms of certain
the Bunds will be fine.
Yeah, certain play-in phases will make sure that certain leagues around the world will be.
Well, I guess it just means that there's no break then for the women, like the men.
Absolutely not. Never one break ever. We want you to play football until your legs fall off. But FIFA's confirmed plans for a 16-team Club World Cup. Crazy stuff. So we're going to have 5 teams from Europe. Asia, Africa, CONCACAF, South America phase will all have 2. All 5 confederations, as well as Oceania, will make up the 6th entrance into the play-in phase.
Does Wellington count as Oceania?
Yes, 100%.
Interesting.
Of course.
Because they're in the A-League.
Yeah, which is Oceania. Australia is in Oceania.
But we're not in the Oceania Confederation.
No, we're in the Asia Confederation.
Yeah.
But that's why they said Oceania will be in the play-in phase.
This is all very confusing.
It's all right. It's not making the edit. Don't worry. It's not making the 3 minutes. But the country that is in line to get this 16-team World Cup, did we mention it already? No, we didn't. The World Soccer Governing Body has approved the dates meeting in its council in Doha, Qatar. Love the general fan consensus is they're not on board.
Really? No
what
way.
A shock. Social media comments.
Oh my God.
Yeah, social media comments saying they don't like this.
Yeah.
It's not good for the sport. Yeah. It's probably not good for the fitness of the players.
It might not be good
timing,
for the women there.
The women who are in Saudi Arabia, shout out. But the question is, how do we change this consensus? What would Kang do?
Well, Kang would easily play the cultural relative card, so easily. She'd be like, well, if we can't have it in Saudi, then we should have it in the States, obviously.
The States?
Yeah. I mean, what's worse than Saudi? Their moral equivalent, which is the American. So I feel like she would say, you know what? If we can't play it in Saudi, play it in America, or do both, and we can have them both. We can have one in Saudi, one in America, and just have them like going back and forth. Just make it worse for the players.
I mean, I kind of get you. I went the angle of the Kang Fantino route.
Sure, yeah.
So today I feel Qatar.
So, yeah, okay.
Yeah? So, basically, step one, too big to rig, but also just rig it, right? So, what teams do we need for people to watch, right? So, if it's in Qatar and we decide it's in Qatar, crap, but we've got to make people watch. How do we make people watch? Firstly, it can't be a World Sevens tournament because no one's watching that. But the European teams, we have 5 teams, yeah? Barca, Arsenal, Chelsea, Lyon.
Yeah.
Yeah? The 5th team, is it Bayern? Nah, it's LCL.
Oh,
LCL,
Jesus.
straight in. Kang Pill,
Yeah.
the lineup, right? So too big to rig, as I said.
Yeah.
In Asia, we did the Oceania play-in tournament. It should be us. We should win the AFC
Melbourne
Champions
City,
League.
yeah.
Melbourne City are in. And then you either pick the top of the Japanese league or the top of the Chinese league, which is NGU Nagoya or Beijing Beiqing. Nagoya, I reckon, just through WSL fan base, I reckon
Fair enough, yeah.
Japanese fan base go bigger.
Yeah.
Nagoya, you bring them in. Then Africa. You can go to, I would say, the best performing WAFCON countries. So that's Nigeria and Morocco. Nigeria, all the teams are called Queens. They're all Queens.
Cool.
Yeah? Queens face off in a Queens derby. Kang
loves
invests
that.
in African
Kang loves
AFCON
that.
football. It becomes CAFCON football. And then their next move in her Monopoly game allows her to just buy the league and she can be the queen of the queens. Yeah, so it's just a Kang quest. Nice. As we said, Morocco, very sad at the bottom of the table in the league, if we can actually see here, is the Lyonnais Assamables. So the Lions of Assamables are at the bottom of the league. So she can't take the Lionesses. But Wydad Casablanca, who were also in the Club World Cup for the Menso, are top of the league. They were in the Menso Club World Cup. I assume they can be admirable entrants into the tourney. So we get a Queens team, and then we get Wydad Casablanca, which we rename Wimam Casablanca. That's the Kang-pilled way. Then the NWSL teams, this is where it gets tough, right? So we need Spirit, I assume.
Yes,
Too
of course,
big to rig.
obviously.
And then it surely it's
It has to be Gotham, because they've
the
won.
Winners,
Yeah.
perennial winners,
Yeah.
right? So you get Spirit and Gotham, and then South America you take Tigres
Tigres
and Club America. And then step 2, incentive for people to watch. We've got the teams in. Now. Step 2, incentive for teams to play well. Cash monies, Kang monies, not enough. We need access to the Kang Institute, 100%. And then Michelle giving option to buy the winning club. Yeah, if
like an auction.
Yeah, it's like an auction. Whoever wins
Yeah.
gets Kang investment. Kang investment for the winners. That is what a club World Cup is. It's about buying the club that wins the World Cup. Then step 3, too big to rig part 2. You rig the draw, right? Yeah. Leon and Spirit on opposite sides of the draw so that they meet in the final. Yeah. We get the Kang Derby. But this is done by making sure a few things happen. So Chelsea and Arsenal in quarterfinal 1. Barca Leon quarterfinal 2 with a rigged ref that allows Leon to win. Or Leon pillage all of Barcelona's academy and then injure their players so there's no one on the bench. Tigres v Spirit, quarterfinal 3, and then LCL Gotham in quarterfinal 4, which goes hard, by the way. That Tigres v Spirit game goes hard as well. But then the reason we don't have the best matchups is because the group stage is where the marketing games come in. So Lyon play Tigres for the marketing. King of the Jungle, Lions v Tigers. That sounds fun. Then we have Barca v Chelsea, obviously playing in the group stages.
Of course.
Spirit and Lyon, obviously playing in the group stages as a Kang Derby. Club America versus Spirit, the perennial trophy derby. Yeah, it's so good, right? Gotham v Tigres, the American derby. Yeah, Arsenal versus anyone. It'll be hilarious. Yeah, they're so easy to rig the draw because anyone that Arsenal comes up against, it'll be like, ooh, we're gonna make this team our rivals. I love it. Yeah, that's how it should be. And then we need to Kangify the content, which is the best thing that Kang does. It's the Kang World Cup, the Kang Cup. Everything about her. The trophy has her head on it. She lifts the trophy.
She has the humanitarian award.
She gets a peace prize. This is how we get her Kang Sweet 16 that we talked about before. But she needs to lift the trophy for the team that wins it, like Trump. And I want her to lift it so awkwardly and so brilliantly. I actually think she'd probably do a better job than Trump, to be honest. She's lifted enough trophies with Leon, not Spirit. But then she drapes the player of the tournament in a coat made of money, which would be unreal. Just imagine Leon win, and she drapes de Mornay, the Haitian wonder, Haitian talisman, in a coat of US dollars.
And does she look over and go, oh, wow, look at all these amazing people. Kang, should we sign these people? And who she's looked over is the like slaves who've built
the whole point is that Kang doesn't want to spend her money. So if Leon wins, she doesn't have to buy the club. She owns the club already. So then we change the channel it's on. We give it its own channel, but it's free to air. We don't make people pay. We make people watch. Eyes make more money. Eyes on the prize makes it the prize. If it's behind a paywall, no one's having a good time. So CBS becomes KBS. Kanglumbia Broadcasting System. Big me Kangs. all of the CBS crew. Take them all.
Thierry,
take them all there. Kangri, Kang Abdo, like all of them, every single one. Even bring the Woso CBS crew. They'll have it. They love Kang.
Yeah,
they're
love
on
Kang.
board.
They love
If they
Kang.
just called it KBS, they'd be fine. And then we need a Kang World Cup theme song, which I will have another time.
Thank you. No more singing today.
Stay tuned for. What would Kang do 20?
Jesus.
But we will work that out, whether it's World Kang or a waving Kang or a whackang.
That's it.
There we go. But that is all we have for the Benchwarmers podcast this week. We are on Instagram for all of our notifications for our podcast. We are on Spotify to listen on audio. We are on YouTube for our audio visual spectacular. Shout out to the people who are viewing us and commenting on our YouTube posts, by the way. And then we run TikTok, as much as TikTok might be shadow banning us.
I have a theory. I just have a theory.
We don't have a theory. It's fact. It's fact. Our content is too good on TikTok for it to not get the views. And now we're even doing individual TikTok stuff. So if you follow us on there, we're creative geniuses. I mean, more her than me. I'm just telling you what happens when it happens. I'm in the rooms where it happens. But we give you content all the time. You can't ask for much more. We provide you content every week.
Every week.
Every week. Thank you all and have a great week.